Good afternoon mga ka-HR, isang maulang hapon. Ngayon po mula po sa Imus, Cavite, mula para sa mga ating mga ka-HR dyan sa Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Rizal, and Quezon. We hope and pray everyone is safe today. Talaga naman pong malakas yung hangin, pero panaka-naka pa rin ang ating ulan. Ayan, mga ka-HR, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. At I hope everyone is safe this afternoon. Medyo na late kami ng 5 minutes dahil nga po talagang medyo malakas ang ulan at ang hangin. Nagkakaroon po tayo ng difficulty with our internet. Pero kahit na po ganun, syempre ang HR, alam naman natin yan, bumagyo, umulan, lumindol, or anything, magkasunog, ang HR ay always an HR. Kaya, so, share na natin ang ating screen. Ayan. By the way, Ma'am Jurina, kamusta ka dyan sa Dasmariñas? Kamusta ang ulan?
Ayun, Miss Neddy, nako dito napakalakas din, sa signal number 2 nga daw ang Imus at saka ang Dasmariñas, tama ba?
Yes, ma'am. Signal number 2. Kamusta naman kaya ang ating mga ibang ka-HR dyan? Kamusta po kayo sa maulang hapon this afternoon? Kamusta ang ating mga empleyado? Ayan, wala pa nagme-message kung kamusta ang ating mga ka-HR. But anyway, HR Calabarzon, let's start. The ball rolling. Sabi nga nila, what is HR Calabarzon? Kagaya po ng lagi natin sinasabi, ang HR Calabarzon po ay registered non-profit organization which provide virtual and soon-to-be face-to-face learning to all HR practitioner and enthusiasts in Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Rizal, and Quezon. Yes, hindi lang po from Region 4A, nakakasama na rin po natin ang Region 4B, kasama rin natin ang NCR, ang Luzon, South Luzon, North Luzon, ang Visayas, and Mindanao. At this afternoon, medyo wala tayong mga kasama from the other country, kaya medyo hayahay ang buhay ng inyong founder, kaya panay ang Tagalog natin ngayong hapon na to. And, syempre, general reminders, Ma'am Dorina.
Of course, ang ating general reminders during our HRE Knowledge webinar, una-una sa lahat ang ating Zoom meeting room ay open na 15 minutes early at 12:45 p.m. o kung sa ngayong session natin at 1:45 p.m. And of course, make sure your video is on and your audio is on mute. Of course, questions must be placed sa ating chat box o kaya sa ating Facebook live post. We request your full attention and cooperation in order to fully maximize our learnings. Of course, this is a free webinar and no certificates will be provided unless a minimal fee of 50 pesos is paid. This payment is good for one webinar and the earlier question, pwede pong after ng webinar ang ating payment.
And HR, sa lahat ng gusto pong makakuha ng e-certificate, HR Calabarzon cannot guarantee that the presentation materials on this today for the webinar today will be shared, provided in advance, or will be the same as the presentation of the resource speaker. Siyempre po, manghihingi po tayo ng permiso sa ating resource speaker if possible po bang mai-share ang kanilang presentation. E-certificate will be sent to you 7 working days. Ulitin po natin to. Medyo dito po nagkakaroon ng agam-agam at question ang ating mga ka-HR kung kailan marireceive ang e-certificate. Ang e-certificate po ay ipapadala sa inyong email address na ni-registered sa Google form na ipopost po natin mamaya. Pagkatapos po ng webinar, talaga pong meron pong mahabang oras siya na nakapost po ang ating QR code at saka ang link. Ipapadala po sa inyo after 7 working days, hindi po kasama ang Sabado, ang Linggo, ang special non-working holiday sa Monday, at special non-working holiday sa Tuesday. Uulitin po natin, hindi po kasama ang Sabado, Linggo, at ang declared na special non-working holiday. Matatanggap nyo po ito automatically pagka binilang nyo po 7 working days after ngayon. Hindi lang po kasama ang Sabado, Linggo at special non-working holiday. Ang form po ay i-close natin on Thursday next week para po sa mga nanonood ng ating replay via Zoom. Ay via Facebook Live, sorry. Please ensure po, nawala. Please ensure po na ilagay niyo po ang inyong full name para po sa e-certificate. First name, middle initial, and last name only. Also, your email address para po hindi nagba-bounce back. And please, attach the valid proof of payment. Hindi po pwede yung payment nyo last week. Kung ano po yung date today, hanggang sa Wednesday po, yun po ang date ng GCash proof of payment natin. Ang lahat po ng links ay nakapost po yan sa ating live. Makikita nyo po yan sa dulo ng ating webinar. Kaya po, hindi po kami nag-a-accept ng e-certificate request via messenger and via email. The minimal fee po ay 50 pesos. Good for one attendee per webinar. At ang ito pong 50 pesos po na ito ay solely mapupunta po sa ating beneficiary for our 2022 gift giving. Ang payment po ay hanggang Wednesday next week. Why do we need to pay minimal fee of 50 pesos? Actually po, the minimal fee is good for to sustain our monthly expenses or subscription for the Zoom postpaid account. Para po makapagbigay tayo ng free HRE knowledge sa lahat po ng HR practitioner and enthusiasts. And ang ating GCash number, please do screenshot. Ang ating GCash number po ay 0919-009-6339. Under po sa pangalan po ang ating GCash Maria Nedeline Estrella. Okay, Ma'am Jorina, please do the honor of thanking our sponsor.
Yes, of course. Special thanks to Wellness, Health, and Total Rewards Insurance Consultants. They provide HMO medical insurance, group life insurance, executive checkup, personal accident insurance, up to non-life insurance. And of course, once you are interested or want to inquire for quotation, you may also go ahead and take a screenshot with the contact people below. Of course,
Of course, HR Calabarzon would like to thank Caparal Appliances and Furniture. We make your home complete. Chat us today sa meron silang Viber and Messenger because they do upholstery services, custom furniture design, and of course, 100% easy installment. They have store location in Salitran, Kadiwa, Paliparan, Imus, Langkaan, General Trias, Silang, and Alfonso. And their main branch is here in Dasmariñas, Cavite.
And of course, special thanks to our sponsor, PC Works Infinite Possibilities. The contact details of the head office is in Quezon City. You may also go ahead to their website.
And HR Calabarzon also would like to thank MGLF Optical Clinic. If you have requirement for APE, please do screenshot their contact number and connect with them. They provide unlimited free check-up for our eye, and they provide long terms for our eye need para sa ating mga ka-HR.
And of course, special thanks to New World Diagnostics. They provide medical and annual physical exam requirements. You may go ahead and take a screenshot for the contact info.
HR Calabarzon also would like to thank Jorina's Home Depot. Simply the best for the less. Product and services po nila ay furniture, appliances, upholstery service, custom furniture design, and also easy installment plan. Please do call them at 0942-471-8720.
And of course, to Butterfly Events Incorporated. Get your girls ready for unlimited makeover. They offer hair and makeup, nail art, and face painting. You may go ahead and contact them with the contact details below.
And syempre, gusto rin namin magpasalamat sa ating Ayala. Ma'am, can you please share or you have to share ng sa Ayala contact details?
Of course, let's go ahead and share my screen. And of course, to anybody who is interested in Ayala land property offerings, you may go ahead and contact this number. And we offer right now the Avida Towers Makati South Point with a starting price of 11,518 per month.
Yan, mga ka-HR, bili na para meron tayong mapagpahingahan. O, di ba? And of course, HR Calabarzon also would like to invite everyone. Wait lang po, wala yung aking screen. Ayan, iniimbitahan po namin ang lahat ng mga ka-HR na sumama at tumulong sa amin upang magawang mas, paano ba yung tamang term? Mas marami tayong mapasaya na mga lolo, lola, tatay, nanay sa ating luwalhati ng Maynila Home for the Aged fundraising event this coming December 1. Kaya po lahat ng e-certificate request po natin, ang lahat po ng payment doon ay mapupunta para po sa ating Home for the Aged na tinatawag nating 2022 gift giving po ng HR Calabarzon. Kung meron pong mga katanungan, please do message us or email us at hrcalabarzon@gmail.com. And yes, ma'am, nakita na ba natin si ma'am? Nandito na kaya si ma'am?
Yes, nakita ko nang nakapasok kanina si Miss Iris.
Yes. Sa mga nag-message, oh my God, hindi ko alam, signal number 3 na pala sa Imus. Good afternoon po sa ating mga HR na nag-hello kay Sir Gino, kay Ma'am Sharon, siya pala nagsabi ng signal number 3, kay Ma'am Caril, kay Sir Christian, kay Sir Paul Anthony, kay Ma'am Nessie, sino pa ba? Sino pa ba yung mga nag-message? How about sa ating live, ma'am? May mga nag-message na po ba sa atin?
Meron na, may nag-message na sa ating live. Sabi daw, good afternoon, si Miss Christine.
Ayan. Sa mga ka-HR natin, please do just message us at i-message po namin kayo para mag-shoutout din po na syempre lalo na yung ating mga ka-HR dyan na kahit nasa trabaho ay still sinusuportahan po ang HRE knowledge ng HR Calabarzon. By the way, Ma'am Jorina, alam mo ba na ang panahon ng October ay hindi lang mental health. Ito rin ang panahon ng kung saan ay nag-uusap-usap ang lahat ng mga managers with the management para sa tinatawag nating strategic planning. Nakapag-usap na ba kayo, ma'am?
Sa ngayon, hindi pa. Nakaschedule pa ang ating strategic planning. Kaya saktong-sakto talaga ang ating session for this afternoon, di ba?
Excited na nga ako, ma'am, kasi this afternoon, malaki ang ganda ng topic operational and people-centered. So parang pinagsama niya yung operation saka yung task ng isang HR sa paggawa ng strategic planning. Kaya talagang excited na ako. Pero bago yun, ma'am, para mawala ang aking excitement, please do the honor of introducing our speaker this afternoon.
Of course, Miss Iris Buenconsejo is a mental health coach, a peak performance visionary, and mentor of the geniuses from Dasmariñas, Cavite. An advocate of mental health and marketing, she was one of the lobbyists for the Philippine Mental Health Bill, now Law RA 11036. She has also trained under several world renowned leaders. Internationally, she has also worked with Upwork, Google, Canva, Nikon, Huawei, Versace, and Hollywood names like musician and producers Eli Duhe and Guilo Cercato. Her agency, Amplified 27 Creative Studios, is one of the most innovative and out of the box marketing agencies to exist in the Philippines. Their work has been in print and off media, promoting cultural inclusion, diversity, wealth expansion, technological advancement, and creative creation. She is also the CEO and board advisor of several cutting edge companies in retail, food and beverage, and service startups such as Aromagicare Therapy Oil Cavite, Good Health Incorporated, Tavoloso Emporium, Cafe Sikat, Go See Philippines, Celestial House, Earth Love Skin, and her current upcoming brand, Inana Pleasures. If you would like to follow Miss Iris on LinkedIn, here is her LinkedIn. Please do make sure to follow her. And of course, introducing the lovely speaker, Miss Iris Buenconsejo.
Hi guys, good afternoon. Thank you for the introduction, Miss Jorina. And kay Miss Nettie, sobrang big thank you for organizing this event. So, ayun, start muna tayo. Pero warm up before we do that, I would require kung meron kayong mga notebook and pen, better kasi the stuff that are in the slides are keywords. So, maganda yung flow natin kasi magkakaroon din tayo ng discussion in between the slides, right? So, can we start now? Share ko lang yung screen ko. Okay. All right. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes po.
Okay. Ayan. So, all right. So, hi guys, good afternoon. So, today we're going to discuss operational and people-centered strategic planning. So, ano ba yung difference niya with regular management? Right. So nabanggit nyo kanina yung mental health month. That's actually in line because primarily I'm a mental health coach. So ang ginagawa ko is mostly ang inaayos namin, ang ina-align namin are the energies and the mental health systems of the people. Kasi the systems in the management usually kung mapapansin nyo, halos covered naman lahat ng mga corporations yan. But why do errors or failures or some delays and resistance happen? It's usually with the humans talaga because ano na siya, innate na to sa atin. So now that we know what are the blended styles, kasi meron siyang different styles eh. So may sanay tayo dun sa rigid traditional management, right? So yun yung hierarchical na may president and then but the one that I will be discussing with you is blended from Silicon Valley. Blended siya ng traditional management as well as blended siya ng startups. So meaning to say, pwede rin to sa mga MSMEs or if you are thinking of starting your own business because this one is more holistic and realistic, taking into factor yung pamilya ninyo at saka yung personal lives nyo, okay? So, operational people-centered strategic planning. So, how to have a thriving management despite uncertainty. So, right now kasi, pandemic tayo ngayon, normal na yung nagkakaroon talaga tayo ng mas madaming problema than before. So, thriving management, ano ba yung idea nyo ng thriving management? I would like to see dun sa chat kung meron kayong mga feedback, lalagay ko siya dito sa gilid. So, I want to see what are your ideas or preconceived notions of what a thriving management should look like. Or para sa inyo, kung na-experience nyo na to, write it down in the chat box below. All right. So, okay na ba yung audio? Okay. Let me know if it's clear. Then I'll proceed to the next slide. Clear na yata. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, okay na po.
Okay. Sige, proceed now. Okay, so this slide is presented by my marketing agency, Amplified Creative Studios. So Amplified 27 Creative Studio, it started as a freelancing Gig ko lang siya before. But then as I worked up my way sa corporate, not just in corporate but like in life in general, I realized that there are a lot of loopholes when it comes to any type of career driven, money driven, and or path or purpose driven initiative. So whether you're a freelancer, whether you're an agency owner, whether you're a sari-sari store, this applies because it deals with people more than yung mismong structure niya, okay, ng business. All right, so, all right, okay, let me just off this one and then baba ko lang to ha. All right, so hi, my name is Iris Buenconsejo. They call me the Human Whisperer. So kung kilala nyo si Caesar Milan, siya yung dog whisperer. So instead of dogs, like yung tinitrain niya yung mga dogs, I'm training humans, right? So I'm a CEO of my marketing agency as well as a mental health consultant for Earth Love Skin. And nagko-consult ako madalas sa mga corporates. I used to consult with individuals lang. But the more that individuals approach me, napansin ko na ang mga stemming ng kanilang mga problems is usually like galing sa work related, schedule related, stress related. Okay, so I'm an emotional and mental translator for humans. So I've spent about 65,000, dati 27,000 to nung last na check ko kay HR Cafe. But nung inaudit namin nitong week, it's 65,815 plus hours. So yan yung total hours ng research in testing, proofing, and aligning ng mga patterns and complexities of humanity based on its evolutionary marks. So ano ba yung evolutionary marks? Evolutionary marks they come from several factors such as childhood, memories, and behavioral perception in life. So madami siyang factors actually. It's not just this one. There's chaos, there's disorganization, miscommunication, but the core components, I would say, are these three. So pwede nyo siyang isulat kasi this is also going to be very, very, very helpful for you and if may kids kayo. Childhood memories, yung pattern or yung pagkakaalala ng memories, and behavioral perception or how you view life. So yan yung tatlong factor on performance, whether that is at work or in school or anywhere else. So from depression and mood extremities to lack of motivation, production, synergy, and cooperation up to peak performance, whether that is group or individual, I've seen and handled the best and the worst. Kasi marami ding nagko-consult sa akin na magpapa-training. But then when we get to the training, we realize that hindi buo yung kanilang kumbaga house of structure ng company. Some are shy, some are more on extrovert. So I noticed that in HR, HR has to have pre-qualifications. So if you already have aptitude tests before you hire an applicant, that's very good kasi meron na kayong basis already. Most corporates that I've seen, they hired people based on skills, based on salary cap, but it never really works long term because yung mga tao would fall apart as soon as may resistance. And especially if you are in the industries of high pressure like retail, food, beverage, mechanical, and production, yan yung pinakang kumbaga I would say malaki yung pressure niya. So now I want to know you. What is the one challenge that you have with your management? So one challenge each. Okay? So ano yung challenge nyo sa management that you believe it's an advantage or downfall? So you can comment dun sa chat box natin. Right? So titingnan ko yung mga feedback ninyo. Because the one challenge each, that's for the advantage and for the disadvantage. So ano yung napapansin ninyo? You don't have to name your company, but this is very important kasi mapapansin nyo na may nakikita pala ako, but you will stack it up against the ones that I will be discussing later on. So kung meron kayo nakikitang positivity na parang this is what makes this company unique, write that down. If meron din naman ng parang this is something that I wish I would never get into or experience in any company or any situation, write it down as well. So yung ano yun, wala naman judgment dito. So this is purely for evaluation purposes. So keep that answer in mind kasi maybe one of your answers will appear here later. Okay, so besides that, I'm also a CEO, VC, or venture capitalist, advisor, partner. I also do panels. So yung mga, let's say, yung sa HR, di ba, may hiring, I also sit in there. I also end up sometimes mystery shopper or parang mystery evaluator ng mga companies, especially when they want someone outside who has very analytical data skills. So I'm also a startup disruptor. So what does that mean? We create and build companies that would make a difference that is so usually far off dun sa traditional path ng business. So these are the very innovative startups na hindi pa masyadong nagagawa yung mga technology or concepts or brand concepts or campaigns that most people would deem like, oh, we wouldn't try that. So that's what I do in my companies as well as in my agency. So I'm also an executive and a highly paid in-demand consultant to several companies here and abroad, including MNCs or multinational companies. I know what it's like to lead people because I've also been in the path of employment. Isa lang yung naging trabaho ko, but long story short, I realized that majority of the growth in the organization would rely talaga sa kung gaano ka-strong yung link ng bawat department as well as bawat employee. So para siyang Jenga blocks, makikita nyo later. So I know what it's like to personally struggle getting up and going to work. That's why I became an entrepreneur. Dahil gusto ko na mag-retire. So parang tinatanong ako, bakit Miss Iris, ang sipag mo magtrabaho, ang sipag mo mag-research, ayoko na magtrabaho sa corporate. Malaki yung pressure, to be honest. But I also realized that there is such a thing na parang ito yung chosen pressure. So yun yung isa sa another factor as well. Employees leave the company not because just of a bad boss, but also of the unwanted inside pressure that they have na ma-match na nung external. So when KPIs or let's say key performance indicators are being kinokollect na sa inyo, like let's say, oh, what's the report for this, anong performance na ganito, who should we reevaluate or fire or maybe put on the back burner, yun yung magiging factor because also best friend ko is an HR officer siya. So she told me that malaki daw yung paperwork na fina-file nyo, and then yun nga may pressure because of the payday, yung cycle ng which we will discuss later on. And I hear your pleas, and I did surveys and interviews for this because we've conducted this in several industries. So let me help. The first thing that if you've heard this before, leadership starts from within. If you have any issues right now in the management, it's not usually because of your president or CEO or manager or supervisor, because the problem would not become a problem if you don't react to it. So that's a predominant belief that we have in my company, it's a mental health company ko, because focus is power. So wherever you put your focus, and I coach peak performance, not just CEOs, but also athletes as well. And yung mga singers like sa Hollywood, si Ellie Due, who just released a single, mahirap talaga to take away your focus on the negative kasi malaki yung pull niya eh. So leadership starts within. If you're an employee, you have to initiate some type of leadership within you. Bakit? This is not, I wouldn't say that this is parang pinipilit kayo to be a leader or something. If parang, bakit namin gagawin? Why the hell not? First of all, you will suffer from the parang yung pagkukulang sa excellence. If you don't show up, like dito nga signal number 3 eh. Like I was thinking kay Neddy kanina, sabi ko, cancel ko ba? Parang ang lakas ng ulan. But when you have something locked and loaded, alam mo na para sa pamilya mo to. Alam mo na the value that you bring to the table is yun talaga yung nababayaran ka ng buo. You would be happy with your salary, with your benefits, regardless of whoever is giving you benefits and whatnot. Because I will tell you this, even mas okay pa yung position nyo kesa sa amin sa entrepreneurship, because you guys are covered and secured by the entity that you're working in. Whereas kami talaga yung nagpo-provide. So it's like, imagine mo, wala kaming blanket security, right? Kami yung magpo-provide din. So that is very hard. However, ang hard naman sa inyo in terms of siguro sa management is to uh, parang synchronize with the directives of the management as well as dun sa mga hinaing ng mga tao as well as the performance indicators, right? So leadership starts within. Your position, HRs, is a powerful one. And I've told this also with HR Cafe because HR is the heart of the company. So sa inyo dumudulog yung, para kayong parents ng mga employees, is like you're taking like 50 to 100 or 1,000 to 2,000 children, right? And there are people coming to you left and right. Bukod pa doon, may pressure pa from the paperworks, deadlines, and meron din kayong, you also want a life for yourself. And most of the HRs that I've talked to, they always say that I wish parang medyo gumaan yung trabaho. Now, the pressure is, hindi mo siya maaalis. Because any time that you would say, oh, I don't want pressure, the more that you, and my boyfriend actually told me this, he's also an entrepreneur in the pharmaceutical industry. When we want negative experiences to go away, we think that's a positive experience, but the obstacle is actually the way. Because once you overcome that obstacle of like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore, hindi ko na kaya magstay sa company to, prove to yourself that you can, and then leave the company. And na-deliver ka, di ba? And it's not like, kung gusto nyo ng maginhawang buhay, you have to think like an entrepreneur. You have to see it from the vision of this company because yun yung hihingiin nila sa inyo eh. And most of the time, employees resent, from what I've heard from my friends who are entrepreneurs na may pasweldo din sila, and employees na friends ko din, the resentment or the parang the pressure comes from like hindi sila naiintindihan. So it's all miscommunication. Why? Because when a leader steps in, like when a leader steps in confidently and says this is the directive, most of the time, if you don't have the leadership within you, you will feel like that is crushing your spirit or parang that is crushing yung free will mo. And what I want to implore HRs is that when you hire people, make a mental note, or even better if it's like paper note, make a written note, an evaluation on the side that you are meeting someone hindi lang sa resume, right? Because most HRs like just look at resume, right? It's easy to do that. But I want you to implore like deepen your practice. And marami siguro baka umangal na, Miss Iris, bakit namin gagawin yan? Like, mahirap na yung trabaho namin. No, I'm teaching you the easier way. Why? Because if you actually deepen your practice, first 5 interviews, would you rather have 5 better candidates, higher quality, than burning 20 interviews in like one day? Na low leads yon kasi alam nyo na kuha lang kayo ng kuha. Do you get what I mean? So the it's more about quality and quantity. So pili kayo nung metrics nyo. So the metrics would be given, of course, by the management. So HRs ask or be initiative na din, magkaroon kayo ng initiative, be initiating with your employers. Kasi also it sets you up, or it slates you for promotion. If your boss sees you that, oh, let's say si Miss Nadi. Si Miss Nadi meron siyang binigay na na evaluation hindi kasama doon sa that shows growth. That shows that you're doing something. You don't have to like break your back and overtly sacrifice for the company. But yes, gusto din namin yung mga ganun. Hindi, kasi joke lang. Pero we want loyalty as business owners. However, I've also been an employee, so ayoko rin ng sobrang overtime ako. The balance would definitely lie in communication and growing synergistically with your bosses or your teams, because when you know your derivatives or yung mga objectives ninyo, as well as where the company is going, you will also understand which people, sino yung bagay doon sa, let's say, 3 months, 6 months. What most companies miss is the projection of that year, projection of 3 months, 6 months, or yung quarterly nila, right? So leadership starts within. HRs, you have a very powerful position because you can suggest, you can survey your employees, your teams, ano yung mga pangangailangan nila, how many leaves they're getting, if they're not getting leaves, and if they're enjoying the quality of their life. Because mapapansin nyo yung byproduct of the pain of your people through performance. Ano na sila, late na, they're dragging, they don't want to show up to work, or if they're showing up to work, mali-mali yung nagagawa nila, hindi accurate. So if you're not getting the results that you seek, it is because of conflict and resistance of differences. So usually the differences would happen madalas, from what I've gathered, madalas siya per project or per department. So let's say merong isang high pressure na event, let's say Christmas for example, dyan yung madaming ano, kasi the more movement that happens in an organization, it's like it's chemistry, the more that it moves, like mga atoms and all, may friction, may ano siya, it creates this parang it stimulates movement, and usually when it stimulates movement, there talaga magna-naturally babanggaan yung energies dyan. So sometimes yung isa stressed, yung isa naman inaantok, yung isa naman wala talaga sa mood, or kagagaling lang sa vacation sa family, tapos parang konti lang yung pahinga, ganun. People naturally are very, very good and kind. However, lumalabas yung irritability nila, or the motivation, usually when it's health related. So also check with your HMOs, right? Yes, and micromanaging as well. So dito, itong technique na to, so Sharon said micromanaging. Micromanaging kasi, like, a lot of employees have a problem of said micromanaging because they haven't stepped into the leadership role yet. I hate to break the bubble here, but that's what I see. Because as a leader, I mean, as if you are hired for your position, you shouldn't be afraid to stand up to someone who is micromanaging you. You could say to them that, I know what I'm doing. If you have some feedback, kasi also, yung micromanaging na yan, pag sobra, maybe yun, justified naman yun. Pag sobra na siya, then i-reklamo nyo na siya. But, yung mga little things, you shouldn't take it personally. Always be open to feedback, kahit parang wala sa hulog, maybe because they're seeing something that you don't. And it's not about versus either or, na si manager mo tapos ikaw, or an employee versus ikaw. It's never that. Because when you have a versus narrative in the company, magde-divide talaga yung house eh. So you have to understand that everybody is, kailangan yung magkaroon talaga ng reality nun. It's a mindset thing. Peak performers do not have either or in their vocabulary. They either they do it or not at all. And even if they don't do it at all, they still feel this sense of may pull dun sa gusto nila talagang gawin in life, right? So may mga nakaka-relate ba dito? Are you guys learning? Type in the chat box if you are. I want to see if you guys have been listening to the talk. So now that leadership, discuss natin yung leadership starts within, right? HR is a powerful position. So kung hindi niyo nakukuha yung results na gusto ninyo, like dahil sa management, speak up. Speak up. You're never gonna be fired or hurt. May mga laws tayo in place in the government, and free speech is a thing. So if you don't like the schedule, you can talk to your boss about it. Let's say, may example tayo na, Miss Iris, mainit yung yung ulo ng boss ko, kahit na. Because the more times that you do it, you exercise yourself out of fear. And if it's really that bad, then at least you'd never stay in a company that which you don't like, And yun yung yun nandun yung, kasi nasa nag-stay kayo sa comfort zone eh. The longer that you stay in comfort zone, and this is why people jump into jobs and jobs, or like businesses to businesses. I experienced bad treatment from a boss that was like really maano talaga yung anger niya. So, syempre, nakaka-rattle yun ang self-esteem, which is perfectly understandable naman. However, micromanaging is not just the leader's problem, because if you are affected by the micromanager, then that means your resilience as a person, your confidence, your solid identity is not yet 100% solid. You need to work on your self-concept. So, bakit ko sinasabi yun? Bakit, Miss Iris, bakit ano yun? Hindi naman management yun. Yes, but even if you leave that company, you're still gonna have the same problem when you transfer. Parang sa relationship, di ba? Pag hindi mo inayos dito sa relationship na to, makipag-break ka, uulit-ulit to, may trust issues ka na naman, right? So, that's also the same thing. Because ang humans, may mga ano sila meron silang consistent patterns of behavior na hindi nawawala. Like, for example, humans avoid pain at all costs. They would do anything to avoid pain at all costs. They would pay as much money to, let's say, magginhawa yung buhay nila to have the comfort that they feel they deserve. And it's usually never logical for humans. We have this rule in purchasing or retail that, like in marketing, people don't buy with logic. People buy with emotions. Ay, gusto ko yan. Uy, gutom ako. Daan mo na ako sa Jollibee. And then it's justified by, kasi ano naman sweldo naman na, di ba, ganon? Yan, kaya nauubos yung mga sweldo. So, I always implore also then, be smart with your wages because especially sa pandemic ngayon, tumataas na yung presyo ng mga basic needs. The basic needs are hit directly. So from what we've heard also sa stock market sa USA, yung supply chain, it's delayed and maraming affected talagang HR sa HR babagsak because a lot of, let's say, logistics, magkakaroon sila ng problema, so they need like mga requests here and there. Marketing din, pressure din sila. So the departmental synergy, yung synergy meaning everything is working together. It doesn't have to be perfect, but they have to be working together in a compassionate and understanding manner. So puso talaga to. Bakit hindi na mga parang, hindi na leadership gano'n? Tao yun You are dealing with people. Look at them as people and not as part of a machine or part ng abala ng day because you wouldn't want to be treated the same way or you wouldn't want to see your family treated the same way. So if in HR kasi marami ding mga complaints yan, maraming nagkakaroon ng alitan, employees that are not being given ng parang proper time off or yung management hindi na-acknowledge or underappreciated yung hindi underappreciated sila. And they feel it in terms of sweldo, in terms of benefits. But hindi mafe-feel ito lang yung masasabi ko guys, like hindi mafe-feel ng tao na hindi enough yung sweldo nila if the treatment of the company is holistic. So let's say, madalas yung mga gifts lang ay end of the year. Pag birthday, parang cake lang, yung handa lang ganun. But I believe companies should do more because what you guys are exchanging as employees is your life. So the time that you are giving away to a company, and dito din yung balance ng between ng border ng entitlement between employees kasi may mga employees na parang I'm worth like this, pero does your CV, does your growth reflect that, right? You have to be absolutely ruthlessly honest if you really deserve that type of salary. Because kung may na-prove ka na, hindi mo naman kasi kailangang i-prove sa sarili mo yon, sariling metric mo siya, which is why leadership starts within. So, ikaw na yung gagawa ng metric mo na, ang ginawa ko kasi before, kaya ako na-promote, I looked at the company, bata pa kasi ako na, I was 21, 23, tapos nag-worldwide retail na ako sa trading. And then, I realized na ayoko ng burnout. Na-promote 3 months na-promote na ako at 21. Regular na ako at 3 months. Pero ang bilis. So parang na burnout agad ako. Ayoko naman ng burnout. So if you don't want burnout, pace your growth as well. Communicate to your managers. Kasi bata pa ako noon, I didn't communicate. I just said yes and yes and yes. So have boundaries as well. Leaders, good leaders have boundaries. They will never say yes to anything that drains them. That's the number one tip for effective leadership and strength ng HR nyo. Second, please keep your mental health in check. Check everyone, check yourself as well. Practice breath work, or kung hindi kayo makapag breath work, just deep breaths, right? Deep breaths. Kasi ang anger po, hindi siya problem ng ugali or anything. It's actually, if you look at it chemically, neuroscientifically wise, it's ano yung tawag yun? Constriction ng breathing ng lungs. Kaya nafe-feel niya yung parang, oh my God, I need to confront that person, or parang, ayoko na nito. It's because sumisikip yung mundo mo. So yung mga nakaka-feel ng parang sumisikip yung ano ko, yung mundo ko, parang ayoko na dito sa company na to. But if you are able to practice your internal strength or yung internal fortress ninyo, you are going to be, you can withstand anything. You can sit there, and actually Tina from HR Cafe, she mentioned this kasi friend ko si Tina Koey Ang. She had a very I would say unshakable confidence. She said, so why not, kung gusto ka nilang paalisin but you're absolutely good at what you do, then seek promotion, right? Malay mo later on maging ano, actually ini-employ ko yung mga employees, even my employees, na later on pag nag-public yung company, mag-ask kayo ng shareholder because you work for that company. That is equity. And no, not many owners tell you this because I mean that's ano huge capital or parang profit sa kanila. But I'll tell you this, you can actually leverage, let's say you've worked 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, you're a loyal employee to the company, or even if you're a budding employee, you can still leverage equity if you can prove that you're bringing in value, not just revenue, value within the company. You're parang evolving the company into something greater than before, from when you were hired or before you were hired even. And nakita ng company, nakita ng management that you are a valuable key player, because that's what company owners and anybody who is monitoring performance in the company, yun yung iniisip nila. Who is in this organization that are stellar, and kung hindi kayo stellar, that's okay, because even ordinary players have a huge advantage as well, because when you're an ordinary player, ano lang, sakto lang yung buhay mo. But what I am saying is that pipili lang talaga kayo na para sa inyo. So there's no more need for complaints or any unnecessary drama in the organization, because again, if you really love what you do, and this comes from self-respect as a person. It's not just na sige mag-ano ko kasi pera yon, which most Filipinos have the mindset about, which is why they're unhappy, because they're always thinking of yung sa mga pera ganon. And when you have that internal scarcity already, and then you go to the office, of course, when someone complains to you, you will have the feeling of scarcity as well. So parang, hindi kita ma-approve kasi si boss ganito, ganyan. Or that, na, yun yung nagkakaroon na ng mga sagutan or any type of micromanaging. You HRs, it's not that kayo yung magdadala. I'm not saying that you're the only one, but you are the heart. And when a heart stops in any, like in circulatory system, wala na. Why? Kayo yung gateway between vacation and work. People cannot take leaves. Yun, kaya yung iba nagko-quiet quitting. I've been hearing that term, quiet quitting and quiet firing. I don't know what the heck is that. I heard it, but it said nagko-quiet, nag-ano na daw, parang ghosting or something. Sabi ko, uso pala yun kahit sa relationship at work. So, humans, contrary to popular belief, don't need to be told. Even nga sabi, si Neddy nga, she was inviting me, Miss Iris, mag-talk ka. Sabi ko, hindi na nila need yan. Hindi na nila need yan, Jer. Kasi magaling na kayo. But, in terms of humans, siguro reminder lang to. It's not like, we're adults na naman eh. We can take whatever. Humans, contrary to popular belief, don't need to be told. Because we are a fascinating race of species. And kung tatanggalin mo yung pagiging personal, pag nakita mo siya as evolutionary race, and from the research we've done sa archaeology, sa mga neuroscience patterns, and even yung mga scientific journals, we are actually a fascinating race of species who internally know how to classify and drive ourselves. Tingnan nyo kapag Christmas party, mag-gravitate kayo dun sa mga grupo na di ba? And even like in a foreign land, or even a foreign, let's say, concert or party yan, or just anywhere na unknown, you will naturally classify and drive yourself to something that you are usually familiar with. Because during the unknown transitions or any phases of transition, whether that's maternity, yung let's say you're moving a house or you're moving jobs, mag-gravitate kayo sa safest option because that is what humans are made of. Walang human masyado na nagre-risk ng, sige, from, let's say ako, from Cavite, mag-move ako ng Africa. 'Di ba? Unless you've researched it well, which is why we internally know how to classify and drive ourselves. So sa management, keep that in mind. Yan yung lagay nyo sa notebook nyo. Which is why I believe in no such thing as management. Sa personal companies ko, most of my employees are sovereign. I give them, I train them to have their own schedule. Alam nila yan. May retail manager, sinabi ko sa kanila, tinatanong, ma'am, kailan po ulit yung meeting natin? Clarification lang yon, but they have Google Calendar. Lahat sila meron. Kopya-kopya na lang kasi ako din meron eh. And I taught them how to, not to be like me, but these were the skills that we wish we have learned in school or naturo sa atin ng parents natin. May mga calendar, may mga schedule. If you notice, if you remove all the skills in the world, it always comes down to this: skills and managing time. That's it. Managing time. If you can manage your time very well, but there's no such thing as that day. Kasi it's not time that you're managing, your energy. Yung energy mo as a person. So if you're expending so much energy, telling everyone what to do in terms of paano patakbuhin yung, kunyari sa logistics, HR and logistics, ganyan, wag mo na ano yun yan, ganun. Then, naghihinder siya ng healthy discussion. Kasi may negative assumptions na sa bawat isa or sa department. And if it's not negative, they don't speak up enough about it. So, which is why I believe in no such thing as management. In HRs, you need to pre-qualify your applicants. Alam ko na na gusto nyo mapunan na yon para tapos na yung trabaho, right? But the thing is, if you hire someone who does not fit the KPI of the owner, kailangan maganda actually owner. Lakasan niyo loob niyo, owner niyo yung kausapin or someone closer to the owner like a director, someone in the higher ups. Magpapansin kayo because if you can leverage that, that's the key to your salary raise. Because you are bringing, let's say you're saying, boss, na audit ko, we have this employee that is performing very well. However po, parang hindi siya masyadong sumusunod sa directive natin. Medyo creative kasi, kunyari, millennial, right? Raise it up so that you know how to nurture that talent without destroying the very foundation of that which you built. Kasi hinire nyo na siya eh. So, you have to have discernment in pre-qualifying talents na ako personally, I don't hire based on skill. I hire based on aptitude. Kasi ang skill madali lang yun eh. Ang someone who has a very good attitude will be willing to learn anything and fast. Versus someone who is, matalino nga sila, pero maere naman, or matalino nga sila, but they don't want to parang coordinate naman with the kasi let's say may assumption sila na iba-ibang ages, iba-ibang schedules. So those are the things that lead to like cracks in management. But HR is the foundation. It's one of the foundation besides administration. So which is why I believe in no such thing as management kasi we're already self-managed individuals. Tinatawag lang na management because it's meant to be managed. Like it really is. When people manage their own selves, they know their line, they know their ethics and morals, and their mental health is good, they're taking good care of themselves. They know the place they're playing at in the entire organization. So said management is found within before you see it sa outside. So yung mga naririnig ko sa employees from the therapy sessions that I have in mental health, sa may coach, pagod na ako sa work ko, parating ganito, everyday gano'n na lang. Tapos parang feeling ko hindi ako na-appreciate na parang wala nang growth, gano'n. If you guys are experiencing that, type yes below sa chat box. But before you see the ideal management, you have to be that management yourself. So said management is found within before without. So yun yung ano natin, yun yung parang key phrase natin ngayon, right? Nakasunod ba, guys? I want to see your comments below if you guys are able to follow before I proceed to the next slide. Okay, kamusta naman yung ano? Kamusta naman? Hindi naman kayo nagulat. 'Di ba? Hindi siya talaga super duper management na like okay kasi ano, I mean I've trained so many times, madaling malimutan ng data. Pero if you tell it in a story way na parang every adult kasi may kid personality sila inside na over time, over the years, nag-age na, namatay na yung fun, yung parang nag-sleep yung fun. So they feel, these are the adults that feel, oh, ang hirap ng buhay, fatigue, walang pera, ganun. It's because the fun or the fire in life is na siya na extinguish because of the pressures of life. So yung ibang executives, they tell me, kasi Miss Iris, bata ka pa. No, actually, I feel quite old in my body, pero like, when I mean fun, you don't forget who you used to be. You don't forget who you used to be. You still make time kahit 5 minutes. And I'm not talking ML or Mobile Legends or, but do whatever is happiest for you. Like my parents, they do smule or ako we sing or mga ganun. Parang find something that makes you really, it cultivates your talents as a person, as a kid. Or if it's not makipaglaro kayo sa mga bata, to remember how simple it used to be, like without all the pressures of the money and pressures of the status. That will create more vitality in you, kasi energy coach din ako eh. And one of the hacks in terms of vitality is to get close to children, get close to nature, and do something fun besides TV, besides social media. Kasi whenever there are many stimuli around you, every time na may stimuli ka, firing yung neurotransmitters mo sa brain. So think of it as like highway. Imagine mo kung ang dami mong thoughts, ang dami mong stimuli, edi ang daming tumatakbo nun sa highway, right? So yun yung which is why I believe in no such thing as management, because the management, mapapansin nyo may management because there is a leader. But before that leader became a leader, they already felt that they manage themselves, which is why we call them experts or leaders or bosses. So before natin nirespeto sila na boss, they already manage themselves. So which is why yun yung kung nagtataka kayo bakit Miss I no such thing as management. Baka wala na kaming niyan, wala na kaming organization niyan. Hindi, self-management po yung sinasabi ko, because once you are able to cascade this information to other people, it will make sense for them. Bakit? Kasi ang work, you should treat it as a playground for something that you want to really do in life. Kung itong work ninyo nito is something na iniisip nyo maybe mag-retire na kayo later on, whatever you're learning in the corporate is setting you up to build a business. Sulitin nyo na. It's actually free school siya. Tapos binabayaran kayo instead kayo nagbabayad ng tuition. Because that's what I reversed my mindset with before. Kasi ayoko ng basic pay dati. Parang ang ere ko pa noon bata pa ako. Kasi freelancer na ako, maaga pa eh. I already know how to negotiate sa abroad dahil online yung work ko. But iba't pala yung corporate. So yun, syempre bababaan nila yung sweldo mo para But if you know your value as a person, may resulta ka. Ma'am, I already I increased our bottom line by 40%, and this came from leads ng ganito. Tapos HR ka, aba, ililipat ka sa marketing. Or you could become a director of the company, because that's what directors do. They drive up revenue. Okay? So hopefully clear naman siya. So here are some of our clienteles para makita nyo lang kung ano yung vast ng work ko. So some of these we've partnered with other agencies like si Versace, sa abroad sila. We did campaigns, specific campaigns. So may ghostwriting, may ganun. So pwede nyo rin gawin yun, guys. Like for example, you're having, let's say, sa HR nyo, right? You can show to your management and you can show to your bosses that you've attended or worked with somebody else. Takutin nyo ng konti yung management so that you show them that boss, may edge din naman ako. Parang, pwede ba promote mo naman ako, ganon. And it's gonna be a joke or parang ano na lang siya, light conversation, because good bosses they know how to joke. They know how to have fun. You know, the bad bosses are usually stressed, ayaw nila makipag-usap. Great and amazing bosses, they want to know about you. Why? Because you are a key player, you are a chain to the larger picture of whatever they're building. Unless kung sobrang laki na ng organization, di mo na makikita. But still, I'll give you an example later kung bakit ko nasasabi pa din to. Is because I've met these people, especially billionaires, na talagang kinakausap pa nila yung mga store clerk nila. 'Di ba? Ang talagang nasa ugali din talaga 'yan. And makikita siya sa organization, sa pagkakaayos ng mga departments and yung performance mismo. So these are the clients that we have. Kilala nyo na naman yung iba dyan. Most of them are consultancy, most of them are customer purchase pattern data yung kinoconsult nila, or parang maiwasan yung retrenchment, or gusto nilang maayos yung mental health ng kanilang mga employees. But the companies that I directly have stakes in is Nike, Cafe Sikat, Go Genie, RDCO Biohealth, Tama Career. So yun yung mga companies ko. Ito yung first and last job ko, HMR. So if yung mga taga-HMR ko meron dito, hello sa inyo. Ayun nyo na lang ako sa dati kong boss kasi mga Carmens. But very, very thankful ako. Ang boss ko nga actually sa HMR, it was such a good playground for me that now that I've become part of the retail industry dito sa Philippines, hinire ko yung dati kong boss. So he was so happy na yung ganong, alam niyo yung parang gawin niyo siyang practice yourself to have connections already in that league so that you can also grow as a person. And if you don't want to, parang gusto niyo lang ng simpleng buhay, that's okay too, but still connect, because you never know. You never know that boss might give you an additional gift or something. Basta may mga blessings yan. Kaya maniwala kayo sa mga sa miracles or yung good things in life. Okay? So happy lang. And if kung sad kayo, some have outlets naman on religion or something like that. So ito yung mga differences din sa organization na hindi na pag-uusapan. Kasi like, ang napapansin ko also is they cannot relate to each other. Do you guys relate dun sa ganong situation? Do you have those problems or challenges? I want to see kung meron. Because magtanong na kayo ngayon so I can keep answering those questions as well as we go. Right? So yun yung mga differences, religion, political inclination, right? But we go back to being humans lang. Kung may differences yung tao, isipin nyo na, ay, tao din yun eh. May kanya-kanya din tayong buhay, ganyan. Magrespetuhan na lang as people. Gossip is actually the biggest killer of corporates. Biggest. Lagi yan. HR, finance, and marketing. Or yun yung marketing, logistics, kasi mabagal si logistics minsan. Parang ano ba yan? Naiwan na sa port yung hindi pa sila maka-move. Right? So, pag mataas ang inflation, guys, mataas din yung pressure sa inyo as employees. But I don't want you to be scared of that. Take the pressure as a challenge for yourself to be better. Kasi kung iiwan niyo yung company later on, or mag-venture kayo ng business ninyo, ng side income, or you want to negotiate a promotion for your boss, which I also, kung gusto niyo ng coaching doon, my company also offers services for that. So parang Miss I, hindi ako marunong mag-negotiate eh. We also do parang nagka-craft kami ng offers. So for example, Miss I, ano ba yung percentage na pwede kong anuhin? Yes, pwede kang pero hindi lang sweldo mo. You can actually ask for equity. That's a little fine print that not many employees know. I only knew it when I started building my own business. Na pwede pala siyang hatiin, pwede siyang parang tinapay na i-break na, okay, isa sa'yo, isa sa... And actually, HMR also offers that. Sa mga HMR dito or people who know HMR, meron silang ganyang setup. That's how I also learned it initially when I was 23 years old. All right, so going forward, another clientele that we have are organizations as well. So Happy is Homeschooling Association Philippine Islands. We did events with them along with Coffee Bean. So, yan yung mga ano. And then, I'm also director din sa Youth for Mental Health. So for those of you who want to volunteer or kumuha kayo ng parang mga volunteers that could help your organization, open kami dyan sa Youth for Mental Health. So kunyari gusto nyo ng mga mental health driven events, contact nyo lang si Y4MH. Sila yung kami yung nag-ano ng policy for yung kami naglobby ng RA 11036 around, this was I think 2017 if I'm not mistaken. So nasa Senate namin pinasa siya, bill pa siya noon. And then we also have affiliation with Kylie Versosa of Mental Health Matters. So personal friend ko yung dad niya, si Manong Aring Bait. So yun yung mga ganun, yung mga bosses na ganun din, they know if you have mental health disorder, bosses like Manong Ari, we understand that depression is also part of, let's say, it could be part of personality. Depende sa paniniwala kasi ng tao eh. Some people don't believe in depression. Some don't feel depression. Some cope with it by work. So it also depends on how you understand the dynamic of your organization. So another brand that we also have, yung community, ito kay Kate's to. Don't know if you guys are part of this, but this is anxiety depression. I forgot the S part. Anxiety depression Philippines. Yan. So ano siya? It's a group. So if you guys need support also for mental health, like wala kayong matanungan, ganun, or you cannot afford it yet, I highly implore that you join these communities, these 3 communities. And for mommies here, you can contact Miss Lakshmi Maluya here sa Happy. You can go to their page, Homeschool Association of the Philippine Islands. All right? So hopefully, meron naman kayo na tututunan. Sabi ni Jorina, as accountability and excellence is a habit. Yes, it is through practice talaga. Discipline talaga siya. And the better that you get good at it, kahit nagpo-procrastinate kayo, kahit windang kayo or stressed kayo, whether that's in home or work, you will be able to perform pa din. I would say estimate about 80% capacity, no less than 95%. Kahit ano, pag na-practice nyo na siya, kasi magiging mababaon siya sa subconscious. It's gonna go to your subconscious part of your brain. Now, let's begin. Hindi pa yun eh. Pero nagbigin na ako kanina, although this is the actual, I would say, more on organizational na siya. So please prepare your pen and paper and take down notes. So operational and people-centered strategic planning is like a Jenga. Every single person in the entire organization is dependent on one another. We have a philosophy called Ubuntu and Arete in my agency. So Ubuntu meaning oneness, and also that is the holistic part of an organization, not just organization but the entire world. Ubuntu meaning one affects many and many affect one, right? So African philosophy siya. And Arete is the peak performance or excellence of any individual that is related to or in relative to an organization or a group of people. So if one is excellent, magkakaroon na ng momentum dyan. Kaya yung Jenga is very relevant to this because every time nagkakaroon ng retrenchment or low performance, yan yung nauusog yung, you see it, right? Sino naman nakapaglaro na ng Jenga dito? Taas kamay. Right? So, Jenga is a perfect for this. Kaya kung gusto nyong mag-practice or nabobore kayo sa office, bili kayo ng Jenga. And then parang yayain nyo lang yung mga team ninyo. Kasi Jenga, as simple as it looks, the effect of Jenga to the brain is very cathartic siya. Pag nakita mo bumagsak, it teaches you to try again. And you are teaching your inner child to have fun also and to remember what it's like to pick up the pieces kahit paulit-ulit. So Jenga represents the wiggle room that every organization has. And most organizations, they just keep hiring. There are very, very few that are intentional, I would say. Yun talaga yung mga nakikita. Kasi also because I cannot blame them also because of the lack of, talent pool dito. Hindi naman sa kulang talaga ng talent. What I mean is, kulang siguro sa upskilling. That's what I would say. Kulang siya. Because the derivatives that the company are requiring is talagang yung iba pang world stage, kung international company kayo or ISO certified, world stage talaga yung standard. So yun, yung mga absent, yung mga kailangan talaga laging on time, may meeting, 7 a.m., ganun. It's part of the job. And um, especially kung marami kayong meeting, request din kayo ng magandang coffee. Parang biruin nyo din yung management nyo because nadadala sila sa biro actually. The good managements that I've been consulting with, they wish actually na parang nasabi nila na hindi masyadong nagkakaroon ng open line of communication between the actual management kasi nga nagmamadali umuwi, yun, and all those stuff. But the more that you work, you start to realize na nagiging home mo na yung yung company. So having an operational and people-centered strategic planning sets up the entire organization, not just HR department, but the entire organization to have a homey feel. You're mimicking the vibe that is comfortable for you, enough to challenge yourself. So that creates a thriving environment and management also, because anytime that there's an uncertainty, and you can tell this also with your, if sino yung mga may relationships dito, taas kamay, right? Ano siya, if you have trust with your partner, you will understand that they will catch you kahit magkamali kayo, or that let's say nakalimutan nyo yung ilaw or something like that, or nakalimutan magbayad ng bill, sasaluhin kayo. And if you have the same type of trust with the management, and then the management also has the same trust with you, mabibridge talaga yung gaps and yung mga pagkukulang sa loob, kasi naturally talaga nagkakaroon ng what I call na parang, what they call this, parang sa bottleneck ng company. Kasi ang company, lagi silang pataas, yung parang sila, nagda-drive sila ng revenue pataas, tapos mag-thin siya. Tapos pag nag-thin yan, ang unang makakaramdam nun, yung mga nagpapasweldo, yung mga nag-a-approve ng sweldo, at saka yung mga unang nagre-request ng sweldo at leaves. Kasi yan revenue is very directly related to moving the entire organization. So kapag pasweldo na, kung mapapansin niyo also, iba yung mindset ng mga tao before sweldo, iba yung mindset nila after ng sweldo. And after ng sweldo, usually pag na-spend na yung sweldo, may shopping remorse or some kind of like kickback. Ulit na naman. You have to train your people not to get tired of the grind. Rest, but not quiet quit. Kasi kahit umalis sila sa company or kahit umalis kayo sa company, this is the reality that we're living in. If you also have another business also besides na full-time kayo, alam niyo yung sinasabi ko. It's the pressure of keeping up with yourself, right? So, yung sinabi ko kanina, you remember that big bosses or yung mga hindi na talagang malalaki na large scale operations na are hindi na makakausap. Sir Manny Villar, who is also my mentor and napaka-generous niyang host, with my mom. Yung mom ko kasi she passed away last year. So yung talk ko sa HR Cafe was about peak performance. You should check it out if you want to increase your productivity as well as a person and as a department. So si Sir Manny, napaka-generous niya kasi ang vision niya for Philippines, and hindi ko siya kinakampaign na, no joke, pero alam niyo na galing siya sa hirap. And nakita ko na binild niyo Evia, ang gaganda ng mga mall niya eh. Nakita niyo ba yung mga mall niya? Ang gaganda, ang sososi. So, Sir Manny had this quote na, do not assume that if you are poor, you cannot be a leader. Just show sincerity, do your work well, and your peers will see it and elect you as a leader. And even if they don't elect you, to add on what Sir Manny said, even if they don't elect you, you are already a leader in your own world eh. Kasi ikaw lang naman yung nakaka-experience ng life mo. Other people can have many different versions of you. May different version ka with your spouse, your child, with your boss. Pero ikaw lang nakakakilala sa sarili mo. So once you show sincerity to people, it is because you are sincere about whatever you're doing and however you're experiencing life. Kapag na-feel mo yan as a leader, as an HR driver, or anybody who's pressured by the management or asked by the management to produce results, KPI or revenue, you will understand that sincerity can drive a company forward in leaps. Bakit? Pag alam nila na magaling leader, kunyari sa company, no, alam nila magaling kayo, alam nila, like, kasi, they always watch. The company employees always watch. My boyfriend actually said, pag umalis daw siya ng office, oh sir, umalis ka ng office, tapos nakabalik ka na. Ganon yung mga employees. You will notice also, and it's because employees by nature, I've noticed this as well with my own, are sensitive about stability. And when I mean that, it's a good sensitivity na they just want that reassurance, and it doesn't take too much time with us bosses na i-reassure kayo. Dapat ginagawa talaga yun ng leader. Kasi na parang, oh, kamusta ka naman? Kamusta yung family mo? There has to be at least humanity, put back the humanity in the management, because wala, trabaho na lang. So, syempre, wala nang humanity, talagang wala nang life yun. Parang feeling nyo na machine kayo, right? So, to do the work well, and your peers will see it. So, hindi nyo na sila kailangang i-manage around or bigyan ng memo, because these people will self-confess. We've seen it also in the types of management that we've handled, na dati mga pasaway, yun pala may problema sa bahay. May problem pala sila sa anak nila, sa spouse nila, or may problem sila sa pera. A lot of management issues are never really management issues. They are deeply soul, parang damage yung feeling nila, damage yung soul nila, parang hindi sila parang natatapakan yung pagkatao nila. Kunyari may sinasagot sa company, or that they're not well compensated. They don't feel like they're a person. Usually yun yung feedback sa akin, whether that's a therapy or evaluation po ng marketing campaigns or trends or market trends. Ma'am, parang di na tao yung turing sa akin eh. Yung stylist ko nga, lumipat na siya ng salon eh. Sabi niya, ma'am, keep in touch tayo si Kuya Dante. Kaya kung gusto niyo magpagupit sa Cavite, I'll give you his number. Magaling yun. High-end yun. Galing sa mga QC and Makati siya. Tapos dito talaga siya sa Cavite. I'm very proud of that. Kasi sabi ko, Kuya, pag nagkaroon ako ng salon, kukunin kita. Sabi niya, hindi ako tinatrato, ma'am, ng tama, kasi parang hindi ko na-feel na, yung alam mo yung magaling ka talaga, pero parang short change ka ng management. You don't know na kung saan papunta yung direction nun. That is very scary for employees. And so I also implore, if you are a leader watching this, please reassure your employees. Let them know what the organizational structure is. Don't be vague about it that we're just driving profits, o sige, magtrabaho lang kayo ng tama. You're hanging a carrot over their head. And these people are exchanging their lives. I'm very, very adamant on HR especially, because HRs are the heart eh. Kung wala yung HR, wala na yung yung health nung vitality ng company na yun, wala, sira. Because pinagpapalit ng bawat employee is time away from their anak, family sa spouse nila. Yung mga spouse na instead na magkasama sila, yun yung nila, yung for better or for worse, pero mag-a-abroad or mag-augment ng income. This financial crisis is driving families apart, and that's what causes the rift between depression, anxiety, and all these things with the kids, right? It all goes back to the kids, and it's not just kids, but you also experience this, as well as a human being. If you didn't have depression, you might have been treated by someone who had a hidden depression that was masked through anger or irritation or some form of maybe maldita or something like that, right? So what are the cornerstones of a thriving management? We've already discussed what causes cracks in management, what causes miscommunications, pero ano yung nagpapatatag talaga? It depends on different hierarchical positions I've seen. So some startups, meron silang ganito. Some don't. Yung mga traditional and conglomerates, bihira, because they've been long enough in the business and they don't want to change. Hindi na ako magne-name ng names, but they don't want to change. Because matanda yung owner, it's not about age, it's the age of the company, yung age ng belief ng company, and they don't want to change because they're afraid that if they change, magkakaroon ng disruption or chaos, or people will leave and ask for something that the company could not give, right? So Meron tayo isang comment. So Jorina says money can't buy happiness, but it can make you awfully comfortable. Yes, so actually money can buy happiness if you believe that money is a good tool. So it depends on the money beliefs as well. I also coach kasi sa mga money mindset ganyan eh. But yes, true yan. In terms of siguro sa holistic, yung parang, oo, hindi mo mabibili talaga ng pera. You cannot pay a certain amount for a life. It's very sensitive topic and change is the only constant. That's true. So cornerstones of a thriving management. I'll discuss first. Sinimplihan ko na lang siya so that you could remember it. The first one is interwoven responsibilities understood by all. When everyone in the management, not just employees, I also implore you, HRs, to tap the janitors, the security guards. Hindi lang yung employees na corporate employees, tap the ones who are kasi yung iba dyan, ako personally, I have inclination sa mga secu at saka sa mga janitor. They've saved my life and job dati. Nakwento ko to sa HR Cafe. But long story short is that yung hindi ko mapapasa na document, sila yung nag-ano na, ma'am, okay lang sa akin. Binigyan ko lang ng mamon, tapos hindi ko alam na i-return niya yung favor or something. Hindi ko, wala akong inask. But these people are usually overlooked. And most of them are marginalized. They they stand all day, napapagod sila. They notice that their time is actually longer kasi pag naghihintay ka lang, diba? So interwoven responsibilities understood by all ensures that from the head of the company, and this will be directed by the CEO and the owner, but every hierarchy or parang yung katulad sa Jenga, sa taas solids, dito medyo wobbly, dito parang nauubusan na. So kailangan pinapalitan siya. Or minumove yung sa taas, yung directive or yung parang confidence ng leader or yung care and concern ng leader, ilipat sa baba. Pumunta naman yung leader sa baba, di ba? If they don't see, if they don't, my CEO before, he was the one who encouraged me to always go to the shop floors. Hindi ko siya trabaho because ako graphic designer ako. Pero I had the initiative also because I realized na yung mom ko din mahilig siyang mag-shop. So sabi ko, ano kayang graphics ng taong pag nakita to, maganda siya para sa shop floor, yung tarpaulin niya. And then I also ask HRs kasi ang HRs, pag nagbe-break sila, they also roam around. And if you are also in retail or any type of commercial management or commercial entity, better ask around between departments what's happening because you can have the same experience but different types of POVs. So interwoven responsibilities understood by all, makakatulong yan to solidify the company culture. So HRs are usually, yan yung inaasahan. But you can tap also admin and sa mga finance, ganyan. Meaning to say, kasi madalas nakita ko din before from my experience, hindi ko alam kung sa experience nyo din to, but walang pakialaman much. Parang huwag nyo kami pakialaman like, we're gonna do our department, you do your department. However, you guys are not separate. I mean, the kidneys are not separate from the heart. The lungs are not separate from the heart. The energy of the company flows everywhere. Hindi lang yung boss yan. So for example, marketing, right? May pending na billing. They need to learn how to work with accounting. They need to learn also to how to work with different Kasi mas mapapabilis yung trabaho ninyo, guys. And you will be able to see that you actually can mitigate a lot of problems if you understand each other. And kung na-understand nyo yung character ng taong yun, not just their character, but the importance of the job. Hindi nyo kailangan lahat sa inyo na intindihin. What I'm saying is, connect. Don't just be there in the office and just do your job, which is good, but I implore you to sometimes go out and hanapin niyo yung, hindi naman kailangan lahat to hanapin niyo yung key players dyan, people who are at absolute masters, magpa-mentor kayo, and if you're brave enough, talk to your CEO, talk to your CMOs, mga CXOs ninyo, or the directors or board members. Yung pag nakita nyo sila, sir, may question ako. Ganun ako ng bata ako bibo akong bata. Kaya mabilis yung promotion ko. Kasi akala nila parang hindi, yung parang intern lang ako. Pero pag curious ka kasi, you will be able to understand what your role is in that company stacked against the bigger role of that company. Mafe-feel mo yung purpose kasi sinasabi nila, hindi ko na nafe-feel yung purpose eh. It's because you were not creating your purpose within the company. Interwoven responsibilities understood by all depends on how deep you are as a person. If you're not deep as of a person you are, then get a job that's more appropriate for you. Because the pressure of whatever, let's say, ang company na pinasukan mo, they're really a revolutionary company or a fast-paced like Amazon, Shopee, and you know that that's not the pace that you want based on what is aligned for you. But sometimes that can take time and trial and error. The second cornerstone is vitality, fulfillment, and satisfaction that are usually at the levels of 70 to 90%. Pag masaya yung mga employee, excited sila, you know that they can perform very well. And sometimes nililimit yung mga tawag dito social media sa office and the music, may mga companies that limit, that don't even allow their employees to have music. Sa company ko, cool kami. Sabi ko, basta may music kayo at hindi nakakaabala sa ano natin, submit nyo lang yun. It helps them to have a feeling of this is part of my life rather than I'm not supposed to be here. You know, ever had that feeling na parang pumapasok kayo and like, I'm not supposed to be here. I should be at home. I should be resting. If you feel that way, that is an indicator already of crack in the management. Not just crack in the management, but yourself as well. Because nafe-feel mo na you're not part of the system ng company mo. So meaning to say, probably the vitality energies or levels ng company na pinasukan mo is not matched to the way that you want your life to be. You have to pick very carefully because also, naintindihan ko rin na may use sa sweldo, di ba? Yung inuuna nyo yung bills and everything. But again, if you keep on going the same way that you're going, you're gonna burn out sooner or later. And parang ano lang siya eh, pagka sweldo, gastos, sweldo, gastos, sweldo, gastos. And you never feel the growth because your growth is contingent on the amount of money. And this is what I'm teaching also as a coach. If you assign your growth to the figures ng sweldo mo, nakita mo yung payslip, ay, ito lang. And then, gusto mo ng promotion, but you're not doing anything to drive the company forward. Hindi maibibigay ng boss mo yun eh. Which is why I absolutely am so passionate at driving geniuses forward. Ini-inject ko yung mga tinatrain ko, like let's say galing sa class ko. I recommend them to the clients that we have because maganda yung growth. Pag maganda yung growth ng company, bibo yung mga sales, bibo yung customer service. They have full force energy. Hindi naman super hyper, but they're excited. They're thrilled with the problems. Na parang, what's the problem that I can solve today? Those are winning mindsets for employees. And HRs can help, sustain or stimulate that and rehabilitate that through events such as pwede kayong mag-host ng parang small meetings, check-in lang. If it's not allowed, then definitely pwede kayong mag-propose ng mga fun runs, ganon. And kung hindi na mawala ring budget, let's say maliit talaga na company, then directly talk to the people then. Kamusta sila? Sometimes it makes a whole difference when you smile at people or just look at them, treat them as you treat yourself. And if makulit yung mga employees, sometimes pagpasensyahan nyo sila, think of them as like, they're children, they're still learning because everybody is learning still. Kahit hindi tayo perfect eh. But if we criticize someone or you are being criticized by someone and you will feel that your life force or vitality is getting low, lalo na pag may betrayal, miscommunication, o hypercriticism, yan yung nakakapagpababa ng tinatawag na qi sa ancient Chinese medicine. The qi is the life force. So if you feel parang, I'm spending time here tapos parang wala akong nararamdaman, it's because the company doesn't have that energy. So, ang mag-create nun talaga are humans. Hindi nyo kailangan maging expert sa mga life force and anything like that. You just have to be excited at what you do. Know that you're job is important. Know that you matter. Every step that you do matters. Not for the company, but do it for you. So kung mapansin nyo na hindi talaga, parang wala akong ma-produce, maybe it's time to reconsider another position, another department, or another company, right? So third one is automated and tech-driven solutions that support the cyclical nature of pressure. This is my favorite because I love building automations like chatbots and yung mga funnels, ganyan. So if you guys also have systems in place, try to review them again. Let's say meron na kayong payroll system, ganon. Maybe try hosting o kung marami talagang trabaho, i-ask nyo sa boss nyo na magpa-meeting para ma-reorient dun sa systems. Bakit? Supposedly, dapat alam halos ng lahat yan, not just HR. But again, it depends on the directive of your bosses. Kasi ako, ibang type ako ng boss eh. I want synergy in the sense na kung hindi masupplyan ng HR, at least the marketing masasalo nila because alam nila yung kung paano patakbuhin siya. You know, like emergency staff. And then, also, if you as a company owner or you as an HR leader, someone did a job very well, then definitely reward them. Okay? Not just yung sa kung ano na yung ginagawa nyo, reward them in beautiful ways. Such as compliments, di ba? Like, mag-open kayo na, uy, ang galing ng ginawa mo, compliment that because it shows that you are building camaraderie as well. Aside from that, collaborate. HRs can collaborate with legal. Sabi nila baka seryoso si legal masyado or busy. You would be surprised at how helpful legal can be. So sa HMR, doon ko natutunan yun. We had an attorney na akala ko sobrang busy niya, pero parang interested ako kasi yung first business ko was importation from clothes sa China, Korea, and Thailand. So sabi ko, sa kanya, attorney, nakita ko yung parang import natin sheet. So, sabi ko, may import sheet tayo. Pwede mo kontroan yan. Sabi ko, ba, sige. Wag wala akong ginagawa. Marami. Pero basta magtanong ko, parang ganun. So, don't be afraid. Don't be hesitant to ask. Ask, ask, ask. And if you guys don't have automation, please implore your leaders to have an automation. Why? Hindi po kayo papalitan ng machine. What this creates is an easier solution like, kung may CRM kayo, meron kayong mga may systems kayo like Trello, Evernote, 'di ba? Yung mga ganun. You have calendar systems in place, booking systems in place, gift registry technology, may e-commerce store kayo na native ninyo. This will support the cyclical nature of pressure because hindi na kakailanganin too much ng tao po para mag-thrive yung management because ito na yung machine. So then the machines would just be upgraded every once in a while by a human. And at the same time, if you already have technology, have a technology that also initiates creativity, collaboration, and reward. One of my favorite tools is Trello. Kasi pwede kayong dun eh. Pwede kayong gumawa ng parang mood board or parang siyang cork board. So, if you guys have a lot of pendings, pwede yung ilipat yung post-it to another column and then nasa column na siya ng done. At least alam niyo kung ano yung niya, pagkakasunod-sunod, right? So, a thriving community is a community that supports each other. So, may mga tanong ba? Do you guys have questions? Are you guys learning? So, let me know. Don't be shy to speak your mind because the more that you also express yourself, you are able to exercise also sa mga naniniwala sa chakra dito, your throat chakra or your confidence as well sa solar plexus, sa tummy. So, yun yung kapag gusto nyo mag-ask ng raise, yan yung gagamitin nyo. Boss, parang ayaw nyo lapitan. Kunyari may problem. You have to be able to speak your mind in a way that does not, undermine your capability as a leader. So, yun. Do you have any questions ba so far or malinaw naman? Can you guys let me know in the chat box below?
Wala pa naman, ma'am,
I'll wait for
question.
your answer. Yes.
Wala pa naman,
Oo.
ma'am, question po.
Wala pa question. Ano na kayo natulala ba kayo? Pero yun talaga guys ang kasi we're putting back the humanity in terms of management as well. Ayan na, malakas na yung bagyo dito. Okay, so these are 8 metrics to look for when driving up energy and revenue. So if you want to upgrade as an HR, And this is coming from me as an entrepreneur, right? So if you're going to adopt the entrepreneurial way of driving up revenue, I also speak in terms of energy. So yun yung ginagawa ko, energy translator ako. Some people, they meet, kung napansin nyo, or have encountered this in your life, someone will say something very logical to you, pero yung tono or yung approach, parang off, yun yung energy. So the energy is, sometimes you may feel that your micromanager criticized. It wasn't about the words, but perhaps it was the energy or the approach, right? May na-experience ba kayong ganon? Let's see the chat box. Yes, emotional filters yung body natin. Oo, may container yung body natin eh. Like, may instinctual din kasi siya. Like, yung instincts natin are very, very primal. Usually, it's life or death yung nakakapagpalabas nung parang the deepest or I would say most powerful emotions. Like loss, grief, sudden death, yung jealousy, malapit kasi siya sa loss eh. So, yun yung isa pa. And also insecurity in terms of whatever that is, material, emotional, psychological, or spiritual, that can also drive a person to react a certain way. So, continuing naman, the 8 metrics to look for when driving up energy and revenue as HRs, in terms of operational, paano nyo masa-strategize? Kasi, pag nalaman nyo na yung metrics na hinahanap nyo, differently than the owner or the leader. Kaya this is why it's important to talk to your heads, because they have a different metric. But feel free to also create, just because they said that that's the thing. You also subscribe to that. You could, but have another alternative list, which I implore to a lot of HRs to have an alternative list that you can possibly present to your boss in the next meeting. The 8 metrics to look for when driving up energy and revenue are: number 1, enthusiasm within the ecosystem. Na-mention ko na to kanina. Because driving up energy and revenue and collective efforts sa company is like piecing jigsaw puzzles. So number 2, highs and dips on attendance and participation. Yung highs and dips ng attendance and participation, yan yung titingnan ninyo. I'm sure siguro sa iba obvious na to, pero ang high and dip sa attendance and participation, ng mga taong high sa pag-absent or late, these people are struggling on a very mental level because they cannot perceive time accurately. Hindi nila gustong malate. It's just that perhaps their subconscious was still, let's say, hindi siya pumasok, right? Hindi pumasok yung employee, pero alam nyo na dapat pumasok siya kasi kailangan siya, let's say, sa store or sa shop floor or anywhere else. And that employee let you down. What does that mean? Did they just let me down? Did they just ganon? No, hindi naman exactly. They were able to let you down because they've allowed their fear of, maybe saying that something's happening, especially mga men, sa lalaki, they're very protective and repressive sa emotions nila. So they're not quite like us women, or kasi yung mga women dito, hindi sila ganun ka emotional or ka-talkative. So which is why highs and dips on attendance and participation is an important marker for energy and revenue, yung vitality ng workforce and ng worth ng workforce na yon. So yan yung pinakang, I would say, na obvious na indicator. So kaya ito na yung hinahanap ng mga HR, yung mga tinatawag na AWOL. So yan. Connectivity and frequency in clear, consistent, and reliable communication. So another metric to look up for when driving energy and revenue is gaano ka connected ba at gaano kadalas na nagko-connect yung mga tao dito sa company na to. When I mean connect, it doesn't mean hi, hello lang. What it means is, tinatanong nung bawat isa na ano yung ginagawa mo sa department mo. Ganyan pala siya kasi ganito yung ginagawa ko. What do you think kung ganun? Parang it's a collaborative, yun yung reliable communication. And even if hindi kayo to go deeper than that, kahit yung hi, hello is still, it still holds weight because sometimes people don't really want to talk but they just need someone to smile at them. Yung mga pinag-uusapan ko dito is it's not strategy, because if you are too caught up in the strategy in the logical sense, that will come kasi naturally if you are able to get good with yourself, you discipline yourself, you love yourself, and you don't take the same treatment that other people give you, and then actually rise as a leader to that, then you will be a key player in driving energy and revenue. Because bakit? Parang, Miss Iris, bakit? Ordinaryong tao lang ako. Even ordinary people have, power. Kaya nga, yun, may people power tayo, at saka, yan yung domino effect. So, connectivity and frequency, ang isa pa sa metric when driving up energy and revenue. Because kapag mas connected ang company, mas malaki yung napapasok nila, mas masipag yung mga tao to build the future, and doon sila talaga doon sila mag-explore ng curious questions nila on how they can grow as a person, as an HR, and how to grow the company with respect to the owner. Kasi ang HR talaga, from what I've seen, napaka lapit sa puso ng owner yan eh. Ewan ko bakit. Pero yung mga company owners, lagi silang bumibisita sa office ng mga HR. So number 4, interdepartmental trust. Interdepartmental trust, yung marketing, yun na yung na-mention ko kanina. I've already touched this one. It's the trust between the components of the system nung company na yun. This can be energetic, this can be through contracts. Marami siyang mga forms. In terms of, pwede siyang maging, mutual good faith lang, or better yet, meron talagang contract. So yan yung interdepartmental trust, meaning to say whatever your boss does or whatever you do, you're already protected because the trust does not come from anywhere except, yun yung gusto mo ma-experience. It's just a frequency. It's just an energy that you're riding on. So number 5, ownership, embodiment, and flexibility. So employees that perform very well sa isang organization na sobrang smooth those are employees that have embodied their potential. However, I actually got word yesterday na merong mga employees na nagko-quiet quitting, tapos yun, parang she felt betrayed, that the CEO that I was talking to yesterday, she felt betrayed because umalis yung mga tao niya. Tapos tinuruan pa niya ganon. And sometimes, like, we really have to learn to let go of people that either don't serve us anymore, or they just want to start a new life and don't want to be disturbed anymore. So parang kung titingnan ninyo yon as an organizational structure, respect in terms of energy. Respect each other in terms of, if you're doing something that you know is significant and that the other departments are doing significant as well, set schedules with them properly. Huwag nyo rin masyadong puntahan ng puntahan, or hindi nyo na pinupuntahan. Be very good and be very diligent on top of, yun nga yung kaya nire-recommend ko yung Google Calendar, right? So the flexibility come from whether or not, kasi ito yung maraming trigger dito, yung mga tao na nakikita ko sa mental health to eh. Ma'am, di ko naman job yun, pinapa-job sa akin, di ba? I don't know how you guys would take that, but I want to know your opinion actually on that. Is that something that you are agreeing? Is that something, hi Kat, is that something that nakikinig siya? Come here. So isa nakikinig siya ng talk natin. But I want to know if this is something that you guys are very sensitive about, or something na naisip niyo din. Flexibility, kasi sa corporate, even though may JD ka or job description, employees experience na pinapagawa sila ng kung ano-ano pa. And then they don't know the boundaries anymore. So parang nasa paper pero parang nililipat or dumadami yung bulk ng work. So yun yung yung parang nagiging feedback nila. So I want to know, guys, you can type in the chat box below, what is your experience like with that sa flexibility? Tama ba yun para sa inyo? Is it justified? Or is it something na parang nakatulong sa growth ninyo? Kasi for me, if it's already siguro defined sa JD, definitely seek permission also with the employee, or what you call this, seek permission with the employee and counsel dun sa loob ng company. You cannot just put too much work on someone else as well, na let's say just because assistant yan or whoever yan na beneath us or above us, pwede na natin i-surrender yon. Kasi the job was given to us by the person that trusted us. Let's say that's your boss. And then you're gonna hand it off to dun sa kasama mo or dun sa ano na papakausapan mo mag-absent tapos ikaw hindi. O baliktad kayo, siya yung hindi mag-absent, ikaw yung mag-absent. I don't know kung paano nyo tinitake itong ganitong situations sa HR. Do you guys experience this or not? Neddy and Jorina, do you guys experience this? Na nakamute lahat. Nangyari. Sige, pwede kayo mag-unmute, please. Hindi ko yata narinig. Hello? Is it working? Oo. So, whoever wants to discuss that particular one, kasi may mga feedback din ako from the corporations about that. And yung mga employees, don't know if it's happening in your corporation, but the something with the JD and the salary pay and then the boundaries of the tasks being asked by the management, kung sapat ba or too much. What do you think would be the balance for that? Sige, wag kayo mahiya, guys. You can raise your hand and unmute before I move to the other bullet points kasi after nyan, ano na tayo, dire-diretso na tayo. Si Miss Neddy, baka gusto niya mag-contribute sa discussion.
Wala pa naman, ma'am.
Wala talaga kayong tanong. You guys are okay? I always feel alarmed when people are not asking questions. Tahimik. Ano yung na-experience niyo when it comes to flexibility of the work environment? Is it fair? Is it justified? Balance ba yung workload ninyo or do you experience something? Because I can answer that as executive eh. Sige, si Jorina.
First of all, Miss Iris, in my experience, being flexible or having flexibility in the workplace allows for more creativity and innovation in a way that employees are empowered to be able to provide more solutions and seek more solutions to problems at hand.
Oo.
So it gives another perspective. That's why it's not good to always put so much work into one person because they need time.
Yes.
As
Oo.
much as executives they delegate so much. Why? Because they need the time to think through. And that also applies to
Usually when
the
that
employees.
happens, thank you for raising that issue. When an executive puts so much pressure on employees, not just one but departmental, it's because that executive did not think it through. Meaning to say they haven't mapped it out, they haven't planned it, put pen to paper, which is why nagiging codependent sila, may codependency doon sa employees. But they forget also that employees have a life. It's not just the work all the time. So parang nahahati sila the differences between employees and the family life. They feel a different person pag uwi, parang pagod na, 'di ba? So how can they enjoy life? Right? So that's why I'm opening this dialogue because I want to hear your voice because ito yung i-open up ko sa next na mga talks ko with those bosses. They need to hear these types of feedback and also from the market in themselves, because kayo din yung consumer ng ano, 'di ba? Like these people are making money from products and services, so they should also understand yung limitations din ng tao, which is why some of them are actually have been awakened to the fact that they should also offer work from home, especially for moms na permanently work from home, or they have a blended mode. For the reason of that yung delegation nga, to answer the question ni Jarina kanina with regards to the pressure, executives who delegate or over delegate on one person do not understand yung how it usually, kasi ano sila profit driven, either driven sila, or markup growth, or parang hinahabol nila yung ano, na hindi sila ma-beat ng inflation, kasi tax din sila ng government. So it's like this pressure and pressure, like nacho-choke yung mga employees. But the pressure comes actually not from the government itself, but the global pressures of the supply chain, yung mga interconnected kasi lahat yun The trade channels are interconnected. So anybody else who want to contribute to the discussion regarding sa work-life balance, ano yung mga na-experience nyo na challenges, especially kung mental health yan or fatigue, don't be afraid to speak, because it will help you also communicate that to us, sa mga executives. Does anybody have question? You can raise your right hand. May right hand ba dito? Tsaka kailangan kalog din kasi mga bosses kung sobrang seryoso nila all the time. It's not good to keep the employees ng sobrang trabaho all the time, because the brain is not, it's not built for that. Right? So kung wala ng questions, guys, if you still have questions, please type it in the chat box. But I'm going to move to the 6, 7, 8. So 6 is curiosity and willingness to expand and contribute. So for HRs, look for the people who are, nakikita nyo na, uy, parang they're discoverers, or parang wanderers sila. They usually inquire, mama na yung gamit mo, parang ganon. Or parang they always look at the company as some sort of excited sila, and they want to understand how the department works. Tutukan niya yung mga ganong tao. Some corporations are afraid to teach and train too much or invest in trainings, but yun lang yung siguro ang middle argument ko between the employees and the executives, is that wag matakot sa training, because anything that you practice here, magiging nyo siya outside, magkakaroon kayo ng negosyo, hindi na kayo, kahit mawalan kayo ng trabaho, you will learn the executive functions of a business. So kahit yung pagtitinda ng tinapay, ng anything, negotiation skills ninyo, and yung people skills ninyo, yan yung magdadala sa inyo talaga ng revenue. And hindi lang revenue, but also opportunities pa beyond dun sa kasi maraming natatakot mag-switch ng work kasi yun, parang okay na yung sweldo, baka hindi, tinitingnan nila lagi sweldo but I implore you guys to also not just, not too much on money, kasi ang fiat money na ngayon ay hindi na siya ganun ka-stable like before. So money is not supposed to, actually, if you look at the history of money was never supposed to be stagnant. Because if a country stagnates its money, it will deaden the economy. Meaning to say, wala nang growth kasi wala nang up and down And also because money is in fact for circulation. Kaya nga naririnig natin yung term na si Bangko Sentral meron siyang money circulation, may financial circulation. Yun yung hinahanap ninyo or hinahanap ng any person na tinatawag na freedom, to be able to risk money, to be able to risk opportunities, to cycle through life without resistance, fear, or doubt. Okay? So if you have curiosity and willingness to expand and contribute, that can drive up any company, any KPI or revenue. So whether or not it is asked of you, you will be able to sustain the strength of the company. But some employees don't want to do that. They just want to do the bare minimum. So this is where you need to talk to your bosses. Okay? This is why you need to talk to your bosses. or to your heads. Kasi kung nilalagyan nyo ng effort, might as well show your upper seniors na that you are doing this. Why? Kasi nga, again, yung kanina nasabi ko, pwede kayong maging stockholder or shareholder, or you also build your position for equity. Magiging director ka and then may piece ka ng company na yon. Or pag kunyari nag-profit siya, boss, kung hindi niyo ako masweldohan, baka pwedeng sa ano naman, ganon. Kasi kung mapapakita mo yung growth, and this is why I also implore you to use charts, Excel, ganon. Kung techie kayo, kung hindi kayo techie, manap kayo, mag-hire kayo ng someone who is techie. Create graphs and charts, or kahit sa simpleng MS Word, yung typing ng today I had, I hired 10 people, boss. Pero tong 10 people na to, kung dating revenue natin is let's say 50 million, madadrive nito 120 million. Or if mababa doon, boss, yung etong mga to would create growth sa company natin. Pag nakita mo yun sa boss, ewan ko kung sino na lang hindi boss na matutuwa doon. But that thing drives expansion for a company, and when a company expands with or without revenue, pag nag-expand kasi hindi yun na mapipigilan yun eh. Once a company expands, magkakaroon siya ng network, magkakaroon siya ng more options, more offers, more products. Kung naka-loan yung company, and let's say na ano siya, parang hindi nyo napapansin na parang may financial growth sa company, usually, before you quit, ask the boss again. Kasi yung baka na misunderstand, minsan yung mga employees na may misunderstand nila, walang growth dito, walang promotion. Hindi nyo alam yung inflation or yung mga nangyayari sa bigger markets. So, sa mga nag-aral ng economics, they would understand it. But basic economic knowledge for an organizational structure is important too. Bakit? Kasi pag may nangyaring masama sa company, whether that is anticipated or not, the expansion of the company will not suffer, because as long as you are there, you are the anchor of the company, which means you can position yourself for more benefits. Pwede nyo hingiin kahit hindi money. Let's say, boss, bilan mo ko ng grocery. Kasi parang iano nyo din. The bosses will find a way. Any good boss will find a way. Alright? So, kung hindi na yun, then that's the time that you need to also reevaluate where you are in the company, what you're contributing, what you're getting. If you're not getting the type of growth, then definitely venture out. Number 7 is overall synergy and synchronicity. I've also tackled that one. This is very important. Ito yung parang well-oiled machine siya. The synergy would come from sa good vibes ng company, having the security of not just being a leader, but a part of like, kahit hindi ka board member, kahit hindi ka like CEO, CXO, you're gonna act like, boss, this is, parang executive, yung talagang cutthroat na VA ka or assistant. Boss, I already fixed our na project ko na that if we have like parang reshuffling ng organization, this is what will happen. Diba? You should also explore creative opportunities like that. Challenge nyo din yung management to think differently, because some of them, they structure the company because of skill set, like, okay, marketing, okay, HR, okay, finance. However, much can be learned outside of the comfort zone. So for me, kaya ako natuto ng mga ganito, kasi nga bibo akong bata. Pag break time ko, kinakamusta ko yung mga nasa accounting, hi ma'am, ganun lang ako. And then they would, minsan nagra-rant sila, ganun. And then I just patiently listen. And I learned so much of the terms, yung mga, ganun pala yun, kaya palang bagal. So nagtataka kami sa marketing, ano ba yan? Si finance, ang tagal magbayad sa suppliers namin. Hindi namin alam na ang financial cycle pala is 30 to 90 days in terms. So it pays to like have those types of people who I call anchors. If you are going to switch to another company, still do that. Whatever you did in this company, do that again, but better and harder and stronger, right? So overall synergy yon. Synchronicity means it's not the time ng office, by the way. What I mean by synchronicity is that you guys are all on board with whatever you're doing. Objective man yan, schedule man yan, kasi nagpa-fluctuate po ito eh. synchronicity, nag-fluctuate siya, which is why synergy is very important, because if synergy is already locked in, you guys know each other's character na, yung manager na yun, he didn't mean to be like, rude to come in late, or he didn't mean to like, hindi siya mag-submit, right? Maybe may emergency sa bahay or something like that. So that eliminates the evil of the politics of the company. Kasi ang politics, people think of it as a dirty word, but politics is just the science of people. So number 8, lastly, is amendment and accountability of challenges. The metric that you need to look at here is how to amend and be accountable with challenges, not just for the people that you are holding under, but also for yourself and for the upper management. Yun yung ini-implore ko sa inyo kanina. I was asking you guys to just, if you are not able to right now, challenge the management. Challenge the management, challenge the beliefs of the company. The companies, well, ang nature kasi talaga ng humans is to stagnate, to stay the same. Because staying the same, it translates to security. But then again, you get bored. You don't grow. You don't feel the growth of the direction of the company. So you need to understand amendment. And amendment means, kung alam niyo na to, that's good. But amendment means if there was something na nagkamali ng grave, to rectify it, and not just legally, not just like verbally, but to amend the energy of the company. Wag nang magsiraan, wag nang pagpatulan ng mga anything like that. If may ill intent yung boss sa inyo, or anyone in the company, or kayo may ill intent with someone, please remove that. That is what creates corruption in the society. And people are very, very quick to, marami nang nag-challenge sa akin yan before. Parang ano daw pakialam namin, ako, personally. Yun yung sakit na cancer sa society, is thinking the grave. I cannot stress this enough, but the gravity of thinking ill of any human causes more drama. So meaning to say, when we focus on drama, and you notice this, the more that we talk about drama, problems, and yung iba naman, ma'am, coach, paano yun? Gusto ko talaga, nararamdaman ko siya Totoo siya yes, na-experience mo siya. However, the longer that you stay there, it will never fix on its own, because a problem requires intense focus and movement momentum. So kung yung movement momentum mo nasa negative space ng problem, which is the complaining and everything, set a deadline. That's okay, mag-rant kayo. Pero do it in a proper way. And this does not have to be just within the management. This is actually a standard for any decent human being to follow, like golden rule, maging, kahit saktan kayo, hindi niyo naman nasa kanila yun, or sa mga religious dito, it's between, yung kay Mother Teresa, it's between them and God anyway, right? So amendment is very important, because you show character, you show integrity to any management. Kahit tanggalin kayo dyan, or isumbong kayo, badmouth kayo, or whatever happens in the company, quote unquote na changes, you're untouchable, because you've never said anything bad, you've never done anything bad. And if you did notice something and you said it, you can defend yourself na I said it because it was feedback, right? So learning to defend yourself also and fix the problem through your self-defense as a person na I'm good inside, whatever happens. I'm not, this is not my loss. I can walk away even if I find a job or not, but I'm good inside. Yun yung stability na hinahanap ng lahat ng employee. Pero nahahanap nila through money, through job title. Pero ang stability na talagang everlasting is within. So lastly, accountability of challenges. To have the memos be given out. Sometimes yung iba nalilate na memo or nabibigyan ng memo na per personal. Sa memos naman, kahit nasabi na, nagkakaroon ng miscommunication because of sometimes late mag-announce yung government or something like that. And they don't understand the changes. Definitely take it up to any director or executive, for sure. Huwag kayo mahiya. Because the challenges of this, the accountability of challenges, I want you HRs to know na it's never your burden to like mitigate all the problems of the company, by the way, because that's the problem of the owner. yun yung ginawa niya eh, naggawa siya ng company, di ba? Pero like a lot of people are I would say scared to talk to the executives about it because parang sino ba naman ako, right? Please remove that because the executives will be happy to hear from you. And kahit kung hindi sila happy, at least you knew what kind of management that is, right? And if hindi pa kayo maka-exit, take it upon yourself to be the leader. Kahit magalit yung boss nyo, you're doing the right thing anyway. So accountability of challenges, this is not an HR thing to do. I included it here so that you guys are aware of what the management can do and cannot do for you na hindi nila nasasabi. Mostly kasi ano sila, busy sila. So the accountability of challenges, sakit na yun, yung tinatawag nilang sakit ng ulo. Ito yung bumababa. So ito yung nakakaramdam na kayo ng pressure. This is not just HR. This is a pie that's supposed to be divided between departments. So anytime that you have a challenge and you think that there is a department that could solve it, or someone na trusted ninyo doon sa company, open it up to them. Kailangan sobrang tiwala kayo before kasi baka kumalat na wildfire yan and masabi sa inyo subterfuge, mahirap na makasuhan, di ba? But definitely take it up to your management and to the boss na, boss, nahihirapan kami ng konti. Ang gawin nyo, i-package nyo siya na, boss, pwedeng pagpa-mentor kasi actually curious kami sa business din. Parang kung ano ba yung journey nyo as ano, ganun. Ganunin nyo, lambingin nyo din yung boss nyo kasi for sure they're under pressure every time. Yung pressures din sa mga entrepreneurs sa amin, malaki. Hindi nararamdaman ng employees yun kasi kami talaga yung sumasalot talaga ng lahat, benefits, tax, everything. Pero yung accountability of challenges is supposedly divided yan between the organizations. And the divide would mean that it's not politics but more on, oh, kaya ko pong i-solve yan. Ito I think pwede naming i-ano. So that is where yung bayanihan papasok kasi nalilimutan na yung spirit ng bayanihan. And that's where we try to, when we're hired for company alignment or company restructuring, we infuse Filipino values again and retrain them or refresh them on what the culture of Filipinos really are. Right? So thank you and God bless. That's the end of my talk. If you need any information pa, you can contact us in my company. You can also reach out to my personal assistants. So yung line ko is specifically lang for corporations, any like ano siya, exclusive trainings or anything like that. But for general inquiries and bookings, you can contact my VA, si Princess, and yung VP ko, si Jamie, and in these numbers. And you can also email astudio@gmail.com if you need any marketing, kahit magtanong lang kayo ng marketing or anything like that, or company related issues or anything like that, we're open to that. And sa social media, we're also on social media. You can connect with me personally on Facebook and LinkedIn. Hindi ako like other bosses na ayoko ng mga strangers. Hindi. Kasi I'm also a marketer. I know when to ask feedback. And feedback allows us to give better products, services that are yung deserve talaga ng market rather than, shoving down products that tingin namin may profit pero wala na palang benefits. So if you've enjoyed this presentation, tell your friends by sharing your feedback with a selfie or photo of your HR management story. Because the progress and insights on social media that you have, you can use the hashtag A27strategies, or kung meron din kayong mga tips and tricks sa inyong company, just use that hashtag. We review the hashtag every now and then. If you also participate in here, you can get a chance to win a huge prize worth 3,000 to 37,000. You can win a company training for you or products from any of my companies or partner brands under sa roster namin. We have about 100, I think 115 plus brands now. So yung mga nandito, ang common namin is actually yung sa Starbucks, favorite. Yan yung hinihingi nila. Mga yung sa drinks. And also you can also have like marami na yata may dito SM membership. Pero yan yung mga isa sa mga brands namin. Tama Career for beauty. We're also open for resellers and distributors. So to cap it off, I want to introduce you a little bit then para malaman nyo yung sa company ko na isa, the Earth Love Skin one, the mental health brand. So it's a wellness and consultation company. So we have these services. So if you guys are struggling sa company ninyo, inquire, and then we will probably quote you for kung ano man yung kailangan nyo. Kasi we go custom based. So if ever na, let's say, may pattern ng behavior sa company na, ay, ang daming mga disorganized dito, it's probably not the employees, it's just the energy is off. The employees need nurturing and stuff na ginagawa nila, nag-exercise sila, makain sila. But, mental health is a very different arena, takes research for that. Pero ang basic niyan, basic hygiene, eating, but those can only suffice up to a point. Kailangan kasi sobrahan talaga eh. I also mentioned this in my other talks. So if you need mental health consultation in corporate setting, company trainings na creative, fun, tap us. Clarity sessions, we also have one-on-one for executives, for departments themselves, or sa mga employees collectively. Company restructuring and realignments. So ito yung diniscuss ko kanina. If you don't want to rebrand or rechange the company, but you are hell-bent on fixing the problem, this is what we recommend. Yan yung therapy ng company. Company restructuring. We see the bottlenecks and then we discuss. We also invite, kung kunyari HR kayo and then you invited us, we definitely need and want your executives to be on the table while we do this, because company restructuring and realignment will require their vision moving forward. So we also do executive consultations. So for C-suites, this is for yung sa mga talagang high-powered companies that napapansin nyo yung boss nyo, but kasi yung iba, ayaw nila mag-suggest sa boss. But the thing is, naghahanap yung mga bosses actually ng executive consultants. What does an executive consultant do? We're like the second brain of the CEO. So meaning to say, they hire us an outsider CEO. We know how to run the company, but we're not exactly there. We're just going to remove the bulk of the pressure. So we also do peak performance mapping. So if you have employees that you want to retrain or gusto nyong pagalingin yung performance nila, ito yon. We also do goal setting and performance audit. So if this is for bagay to, itong 5 and 6, bagay siya sa mga sales-based or any KPI-based businesses. Goal setting and performance audit allows the company to see ano yung goals, personal goals ng mga tao sa kumpanya. Kasi hindi ito na-discuss ng personally, nag-uuwian na eh. But this is an intensive session. So that can create an intimacy in the company without, feeling like you have to do the long hours pa, right? So lastly, holistic wellness and quality assessment, we also have that. Kung gusto niyo makita yung, kunyari, gusto niyo makita kung ano yung nutrition na ng company ninyo, fitness-wise, para maka-bulk kayo ng yung bulk discount, ito yung kunin niyo. We have people from fitness, yung gusto niyo mag-weight loss, maraming gusto mag-weight loss. People who want to have distress, yan din yung recommend namin. So para hindi na kayo individually na mag-hire ng therapist, na yan eh, magiging company training talaga siya. Psychiatric and psychological evaluation for those who absolutely need this. This is with NBA. We have private and world-class partners, licensed members, right? So another thing for Amplify 27 Studio, kung kailangan nyo ng marketing or anything, ito yung mga services namin. We have design branding and customer data. So yung mga tao na gusto na mag-increase ng profit nila, we look at the customer data, kung sino yung bumili sa inyo for the past year. We look at that, we dig that, and then we provide you insights on how to drive the revenue up, create campaigns for you, or basta mag-brainstorm then. Packaging curation, we also have visual store and interior design. Yan yung marami kaming ginagawa. Busy na kami sa retail holiday, construction, architecture, independent artists. And also if you guys are independent artists, gusto nyo mag-sideline, definitely send your resume in. Open ako kahit yung mga full-time. PR events and influencer. We also have digital, traditional, print media. So mga gustong mag-promote sa TV or sa prints. We also have portrait photography and corporate photography and events and product photography and catalog, as well as systems automation, chatbot, Facebook pages, Google Business, the works. And then lastly, yung store management for retail, dropship, and e-com, right? So other company that I have is GoGenie. Kung kayo naman need nyo ng corporate baskets for this Christmas, we're still open up until I think latest namin would be November 15. So I'm the head of affiliate partnerships there. You can talk to me if need nyo ng corporate hampers. So meron kaming selections niyan. And meron kaming parang dito yung gift catalog. We have birthday treats. So ang also in-employer namin to have the management or yung HR, mag-suggest din sila ng kahit yung mga mumunting gift like para sa employee. Kasi difference din yun malaking difference kahit hindi naman bongga na gift. But a small token of appreciation is a huge catalytic growth for an employee. Kasi parang, ay, nailala ko ng boss ko. Kahit ano lang, parang chocolate lang or face towel na may borda, okay na sa kanila yun eh. So we also do corporate gift registry if you don't know their addresses. And then we also have surprise family corporate gifts. So if you want to gift your family, urge your bosses instead to buy your groceries for you instead of you buying groceries for your family. So makaka-discount pa kayo kasi direct kami sa mga warehouses. Event souvenir provider as well and promotional rewards via hampers. So bigyan ko kayo ng isa pang if you guys are looking for cash flow income or source, we also have the Macareer. So ito yung latest brand and company na ni-launch namin. So I'm the CMD, Chief Marketing Director. So ito siya. If you are distressed, ay parang gusto niyo mag-distress and gusto niyo mag-pamper without going to derma clinic or mahal, this is only 250 pesos and we're open for resellers, dropshippers. Dropshippers meaning wala kayong capital, magsisell lang kayo, and wholesalers for bulk, corporate gifts, holiday, birthday, and gift. Meron siyang niacinamide. So it looks like this. Pakita ko lang. It looks like this. Para siyang whipped cream. Para siyang you can put this on sa mga maiitim na parts ng katawan nyo like sa bukong-bukong or knees and underarms. So non-invasive siya. And then beauty and fashion consultation, we also do that. So kung libre lang namin binibigay yun, guys. So and then lastly, I think this is the last, dami kong companies. This one is for me and my boyfriend, A Global Care Incorporated, so Mint Relief. He was very generous actually to give samples. So if gusto nyo rin ng samples sa company, please let me know. This is great for acid reflux, GERD. Yung paggutom kayo, di ba, lagi kayo nag-work. This is great for that. Tapos hindi kayo makalabas pa. Also for dyspepsia, menstrual, and gastric cramps, and neutralizing and soothing gut health. Ayan, pharmaceutical kasi sila. Ito yung nila. But this is the product, Mint Relief, right? And then they also have acne cream. So sa mga may mga anak dito na nagpo-puberty na, and then they also have ascorbic acid called Sasorbic. So I think, I'm not sure kung mas mura sila, but dun sa mainstream, but the vitamins are very good. I tried them. And then yun, nagbigay sila ng samples. If you guys want, si Miss Neddy, please connect with me later kung gusto niyo ng samples for HR Calabarzon. I will be willing to liaise that with my boyfriend. So, ayun, it's available at our Lazada shop, A Global Incorporated. So, you don't need to worry about stomach pains anymore. Kasi pag take nyo yan, I think 15-20 minutes. Yeah, kasi na-try ko siya for my heartburn. Nagka-COVID ako. Nung actually, hinahire ako ni Miss Neddy to be a speaker, I had COVID. So, na-push back ng konti. But, yung nagkaroon ako ng effects sa isang medicine, hindi ko nagustuhan, nagkaroon ako ng reflux. Ginamit ko to. And when you take it, 15 to 20 minutes, mabilis na siya nag-e-effect. Wala na yung sakit ng tiyan nyo and yung heartburn, cool. It feels cool. So magpa-pop lang siya. And it's very soothing. Perfect din to sa mga laging on the call or people who are in sales because yung lamig sa lalamunan niya iba. So you can find that in our Lazada shop. You can order this in other products like meron din silang pregnancy test kit and I think mga thermometers and such. They have in A Global Incorporated. Okay, so you can connect with me, Facebook again, LinkedIn. So search nyo lang ako sa Facebook and yun. Tapos if you want to join the raffle, this is the mechanics. So we will check that siguro next week na after Halloween. All right, so thank you guys. Going back to Miss Neddy now.
Okay. Parang maraming naka-enjoy din nung last part. Pansin mo, Ma'am Serena. Parang
Actually,
kailangan ko
marami
yung,
tong
ano, yung
factors eh.
pang, ano, yung sa reflux, acid reflux. Parang
Oo,
I need that.
marami to. Actually, my boyfriend is very generous to like, sabi niya, kung gusto daw ng HR Calabarzon, especially the heads, willing kami actually, dami ako dito eh. Gusto mo, Miss Daddy, ikaw na lang sa'yo to. Dami, oh, look at that, oh.
Dalawin ka namin, ma'am. Anyway,
Nasa
Yes.
mga
journal
ka-HR,
So,
we are now
ano-
open for Q&A.
yes.
Ayan. Of
I'm not
course,
sure kung dito yung
um,
HR niya, pero he's in Germany. So, kung may mga taga-A-Global dito, thank you. Kung nandito kayo, support. Sige, question and answer tayo.
Okay.
Ayan.
okay, now we have a question from Facebook Live post po natin. Si Shell Oma, sabi niya, question for Miss Iris. As an HR manager, how can I tell a senior manager that he is not doing his job effectively?
I love
Ay, parang
questions
tanong
like
ko rin
that.
yun.
Hindi di ba na-discuss ko yung kanina like speak up, no? So, long story short, siguro fun way, tell them to F off, charot. Hindi naman. Lakasan mo yung loob mo talaga. Know before you talk to them, because usually executives na pag hindi mo pa alam yung temperament, number one talaga, know their temperament. If once you know their temperament, you have to know the data, go to analytics. Let's say, kahit simple analytics lang na, ito yung, anong mga metrics nun. And then verify it. That's why the curiosity part comes in earlier. I-verify nyo muna before, kasi baka ano yun eh, hindi natin alam kung diffusing time bomb siya. So, is your boss ba like the type of to tripwire, or that boss is more so na parang hindi lang siya open, pero hindi naman siya like anger bomb, ganun, or angry bird. Hindi naman siya ganun. So, depende doon. Yun yung, if you can answer that today, I will definitely give you the answer. Kasi marami na ako na-encounter na ganito. At nakausap na ganito. Ayun, thank you. Sige. Go
From
ahead.
Google Form or Google Sheet attendance, we still don't have question, but they are all saying, thank you, Ma'am Iris. Thank you, Miss Iris.
Thank you as well. Thank you,
I
Paul.
learned a lot.
Abigail.
And how about with our Zoom? Is there
Ayan,
anyone who would
okay.
like to
May Zoom pala tayo.
Yeah.
to ask question? Please do raise your hand.
Okay, so habang wala pa naman, ako personally, Miss Iris, I have a question. What are the main obstacles that you have faced in strategic planning?
Strategic planning, definitely confusion. Kasi different people have different perceptions ng reality or what they want to do within any dynamic, whether that's church, whether that's company, whether that's kahit sa bahay, di ba? Like, you can view an event from different angles. So, in terms of strategic planning, before you plan anything, like katulad nito sa HR Calabarzon, before I do any talks really, I do survey first. Kasi kung magde-deliver ng talk na hindi relevant or any type of decision, let's say a president would drive a decision, it will affect everyone or and a thriving organization usually works when there's good faith or mutual faith involved. So yun yung sagot ko for that. Uy, baka may question kayo on transitions or any, like, let's say, should I leave the company? Yan yung mga favorite ko. Should I leave the company? How to negotiate salary, benefits. I can help you with that because high-end closer ako eh. So I do deals and yan yung mga win-win closers na parang if you don't know how to talk to your seniors, HRs, or any yung higher ups na kailangan nyo na talaga ilaban yung sweldo nyo because let's say senior na kayo, matagal na yung expertise niyo, maganda naman yung track record nyo, why not, diba?
Parang
Ano
nahiya.
po tips nyo, Miss Iris?
For that talaga,
Sa
I always
top 3 tips nyo bilang isang high-end close.
Top 3 tips, depende sa anong type to. Sa mismong HR, are we talking about HR as performative or revenue driven. Kasi iba yun eh, magkaiba siya. So parang kung HR for revenue, iba yung magiging sagot ko. Pag HR siya na parang for growth, iba din yung sagot niya. So which one are you talking about? Parang for growth ng company or talagang general tips lang ganun?
General tips, ma'am.
Okay. So kasi gusto ko malaman din para maging relevant sa inyo, ano yung goal ninyo? Usually parang ano ba yung gusto niyo ma-achieve sa organization? You can state isa-isa. Tapos bubuuhin ko na lang siya. Para kesa general siya, mas magandang targeted. So let's start with Miss Neddy, ikaw, ano yung goal mo as HR? Parang how do you see yourself na ganun? Tapos kay Jarina and kay Miss Sharon or kung sino man yung gusto mag-open up. Ano natin? Para, di ba, at least coaching na din to.
Parang bigla akong natameme.
Ayun, yung isang...
Parang bumalik sa akin yung tanong eh, no?
Sige, ito na lang, general. Number 1, na tip ko, hindi lang high-end closure, pero you have to, hindi naman you have, but if you can, think bigger of yourself. Always. Have a North Star besides, let's say you're an HR, right? Most HRs, yung sa Facebook actually, si Cheryl, I think Cheryl Sandberg is her name, dati siyang HR sa Meta or dating Facebook. Tapos magaling kasi siya, ginawa na siyang